McCormick, President Trump has issued a stark warning to Iran, as Olivia Rinaldi reports.
At 8 a.m. this morning, he posted that Truth Social saying an entire civilization will die tonight. It will never to be brought back again. This is, of course, the president making that threat that if there is no deal tonight, if the Strait of Hormuz is not reopened, he is going to start bombing their bridges and their power plants. We also learned that the U.S. and Israel have started bombing Karg Island. That is where 90% of Iran's oil has to go through. It's a very crucial island for them and their energy supply.
Vice President J.D. Vance is in Hungary to support Prime Minister Viktor Orban's re-election bid.
The bureaucrats in Brussels have tried to destroy the economy of Hungary. They have tried to make Hungary less energy independent. They have tried to drive up costs for Hungarian consumers, and they've done it all because they hate this guy.
Orban is running for a fifth term and trailing in the polls. The London Music Festival Kanye West was due to headline has been canceled, and his travel plans altered, as Vicky Barker reports.
After a rising tide of anger and anguish over Kanye West's invitation to headline a music festival here, British immigration authorities have rejected his visa application, and the festival itself has been canceled, just as tickets were going on sale. Faith leaders and politicians were unconvinced by West's apology for past anti-Semitic and pro-Nazi remarks. It would have been the rapper now known as Ye's first UK appearance in more than a decade. Vicky Barker, CBS News, London.
NASA today released a historic photograph of Earth dipping below the lunar horizon more than 57 years after the iconic Earthrise image captured by Apollo 8. Space consultant Bill Harwood on the front row seat for the Artemis II astronauts.
The astronauts enjoyed a solar eclipse, a total eclipse, from their position out in space where the moon moved in front of the sun, and it lit up the moon from the other side. I never expected to see that, but it was truly spectacular.
Google has updated the mental health safeguards on its AI chatbot Gemini. Correspondent Michael Wallace has more.
The changes come as Google faces a wrongful death lawsuit alleging the chatbot aided a user in his suicide. Gemini will now more quickly connect users to crisis care when they show signs of mental health distress. Users can call or text a hotline with one click. Google has also pledged $30 million over 3 years to crisis hotlines worldwide.
On Wall Street, worries over the war with Iran have sent stocks lower again. The Dow off 333 points. This is CBS News.
I want to know what's going on in the world.
I'm Tony.
There are big questions that all of us are asking. I want to get you the answers.
How are you?
I'm Tony DeCopel. Join me on the CBS Evening News.
Hoping for a gas tax holiday? Well, don't hold your breath. We'll tell you more about that in just a moment. First, KIRO Newsradio traffic. Northbound 167 at Highway 18. We've been dealing with a crash that had 2 right lanes blocked in the last few minutes, so expect some slowing in that part of the world. And it'll take you about 48 minutes right now to get from Puyallup to Renton, another 40 or so to Bellevue. Eastbound 16, we got some slow traffic near Cheney Stadium because of an earlier crash. Trip from Federal Way to Seattle, about 50 minutes, just under that. And there's still some tough traffic out in the north end. 55 minutes right now from Linwood to Bellevue and another 45 minutes to Seattle. This traffic report is brought to you by the KIRO Newsradio App. Text app to 888-973-5476 to download the KIRO Newsradio App. Listen to your favorite shows and get the latest news and updates sent straight to your phone.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Frank Lindsay. Gas and diesel prices continue to rise in the weeks after the war in Iran began, choking off a fifth of the world's oil supply. So is there any chance of a gas tax holiday here in Washington?
Last month, Georgia's governor signed a bill suspending the state's gas tax for 60 days, with other states considering to follow suit. We wanted to know what our leaders like Governor Ferguson are thinking. We first asked the governor weeks ago.
Well, have you given any consideration to a gas tax holiday?
Have I given any consideration to it? There's lots of things that are being considered.
Meantime, at the federal level, should the federal gas tax have a gas holiday?
I think we should federally start looking at a lot of solutions.
But until then, the price at the pump just keeps climbing.
That's KIRO 7 TV's Brandon Thompson. Renton police have temporarily shut off automated license plate reader cameras to comply with a new state law regulating their use.
So it's not only with the flock cameras, but also has to do with our in-car cameras that also have the ability to do automatic license plate reading.
Police Chief John Schultz said the cameras help solve crimes, but they're dark for now as the city works through privacy rules. He says he wants them back up and running as soon as possible. An inquest into a 2019 shooting involving Seattle police got underway this week.
It's looking into the death of Dennis Rodriguez Martinez. According to the prosecuting attorney, SPD went into his apartment in the early hours of February 7, 2019, and found him holding a knife with a woman decapitated on the floor. Reports say he dropped the knife but then picked it back up and went towards officers. That's when they shot and killed him. This inquest will look to see if police acted according to protocol. Jurors will look at evidence like body cam footage as well as listen to testimony.
That's KIRO 7's Eric Thomas. Look at your weather forecast now. We've got some clouds out there at the moment, but we're expecting sunshine later today, up to about 56 degrees. Sunny and 61 tomorrow, sunny and 65 on Thursday, 69 degrees on Friday. Then over the weekend, we drop into the 50s, and there are showers in the forecast for Saturday and Sunday as well. Right now, it's 46 degrees in Seattle. I'm Frank Lindsay. KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show with G. Scott and Ursula Reutin.
Ursula, where's the sun at? What happened?
Taking a little break, but I understand it's supposed to come back.
Look,
don't give up. Don't give up. No, we're choosing joy.
Hey, need some sun. The days are better. It's the
People are wearing
show.
Shorts today.
I know.
Yeah, we're ready. We are ready.
The news director's wearing shorts. I said, oh, boy, you a little comfortable today, ain't you?
It's getting comfy.
Good morning, Ursula. What we got?
Well, he's got a bold new plan to tackle homelessness in King County. He's promising a reset on how we break the cycle. At the same time, there's a blistering new audit that is exposing serious mismanagement of taxpayer dollars, raising questions about who is actually minding the store. So coming up after the 9:30 newscast, King County Executive Gurmai Zahalai is going to be joining us here live in studio.
Okay, we got to clean up there.
Yeah, we do.
Make sure it's cool.
We do. And then I got a question for you. Are you tired of all the bad news every single day? Yeah, so am I. Yeah. So on our show today, we are going to build on this motto of ours to choose joy. So we do have to bring you the vegetables, but we're also going to find those moments where we all can say we are choosing joy.
All right. Well, let's see what Sophia has cooking for us on the Joy Department.
Okay.
Ursula's top stories of the day brought to you by Pittergas Law.
This is an extremely dangerous moment right now in the Middle East. If you haven't heard yet, earlier today, President Trump warned that a whole civilization will die tonight if Iran does not back down and reopen a critical oil shipping route. So the question is he bluffing or is he being serious?
We have not heard from White House officials trying to walk this back in any way. We're used to hyperbole from this president. We're used to threatening rhetoric, but this definitely takes it up a notch. His language here is almost apocalyptic when he says that a whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again.
And then hours after he posted this on his Truth Social, the U.S. carried out strikes inside Iran, hitting military bases, runways, and underground weapons sites tied to Iran's Revolutionary Guard. CBS's Nancy Cordes says Iran is now firing back, launching missiles and drones at oil and chemical plants in Saudi Arabia, and also warning that U.S. bases and allies could be next.
Overnight, we heard from the Iranian president who posted on X that there are 14 million Iranians who are willing to sacrifice for their country, and he is one of them. So you've got tough talk coming in the other direction as well, even as President Trump acknowledges that he thinks that negotiations are going okay, that he thinks that the Iranians are negotiating in good faith.
But we're not sure where that's happened because as of this morning, there is no deal, G. The U.S., of course, wants Iran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz and to stop attacks immediately. Iran, for its part, is refusing, saying it's not going to stop unless the U.S. and Israeli strikes end first and that sanctions are lifted. And it also wants broader guarantees about its own security and nuclear program. So in other words, both sides want concessions first, and neither side is blinking.
Well, most of us have never had to make decisions on behalf of a country. And with that said, I think we all know that to say things like a whole civilization will die tonight and to never come back, I think we can all agree that that type of rhetoric, that type of behavior is just not helpful. At the end of the day, whatever's going on, I think we all want some type of peace. We all want some type of negotiation. So whether it is work or family that you're dealing with, when you're sitting down with someone to have a discussion, to talk about peace and to talk about going forward, each side has to come with a part where you're like, let me give up a little bit to make this deal.
Compromise.
A little bit of a compromise. And I don't know who speaks for Iran, because we don't know. It's always different here and there. We know that Donald Trump speaks for the United States. In order for a deal and some type of peace and for this rhetoric to die down, someone is going to have to be the mature person in the room. I don't know what's going to happen tonight at 5 p.m., but I do know this. In my lifetime, I've never heard the leader of the free world, the president of the United States, speak in this way. So, am I nervous? Yeah, I'm nervous about the future because I'm nervous about what is this about? Is this ego or is this strategy? And I think right now, that's what people need to answer. Do you think saying that the civilization, a whole civilization will die tonight and to never come back, is that ego or is that strategy?
Sadly, I think that's a lot of ego, and I think it is unhinged and beyond reckless to use that kind of language because right now, nobody wants to be the one who backs down. Mm-hmm. President Trump has already made threats and has launched strikes and is now threatening the end of an entire civilization with a 5 p.m. Seattle time deadline. Mm-hmm. If he pulls back now, it looks like he blinked. Iran's leadership cannot concede under pressure because backing down after being attacked at home would undermine them at home and across the region. So they're fighting it. And you may say that this is all talk, this is all part of the strategy. But what's awful is what could happen next if it keeps getting ramped up. Mm-hmm. There's going to be more strikes, more retaliation. Could it spread? I mean, Saudi Arabia, Israel, U.S. bases across the Mideast. I mean, those become bigger targets. What if one strike hits the wrong target or kills large numbers, even larger numbers than we've already seen? Could that trigger a much larger war? As you said, this is going to require adults. It's going to require some talks. And the only way this is going to cool off is if they quietly cut a deal behind the scenes where everyone can save face. Mm-hmm. Everyone can claim some kind of victory. And that's probably going to be with another country as a mediator. But right now, at least from what reporting we're getting, and I think we have to also be really clear, we don't have all the information. There's very limited information coming from inside Iran other than from the Iranian government.
Right.
So, it's going to require maturity. Yeah. And I am honestly afraid that it's going to have to come from someone other than the president because of the kind of language he uses. Mm-hmm. I mean, that is. Tell me, I mean, is that not unhinged?
I used the word ego on purpose because I'm choosing joy. I could have used other words. So I just said, is it ego or is it strategy?
Well,
all right.
Text us, Muckleshoot Casino Resort text line. 888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO. We obviously all want the best of a terrible situation right now.
Yes, we do.
Okay, so this is our intentional choosing joy, because my favorite story of the entire day is NASA's Artemis II crew. They are on their way home now, G, after pulling off something that humans have not done in more than a half century and pushing it even further. So, of course, they've just completed a historic trip around the moon, and they broke the record for the farthest distance that humans have ever traveled from Earth.
Yeah.
So think about that. Farther than Apollo 13, farther than anyone in history. And, okay, I'm going to admit something. I have a bit of a crush on Commander Reed Wiseman, who was almost giddy when he and the other crew members spoke with the president about what they accomplished.
As we came around the near side of the moon, seeing all the sights that we've seen from Earth for all of our lives, but we're seeing them from a different perspective, and then we started to get a glimpse of and we saw sights, Oriental sights that no human has ever seen before, not even in Apollo, and that was amazing for us.
Yeah, they watched an Earthrise, they saw a solar eclipse from space, and then get this, they went completely dark for 40 minutes as the moon cut off all communication. So imagine being all the way out there, further than anyone's ever been, and then it goes dark. And pilot Victor Glover described what that was like.
I said a little prayer, but then I had to keep rolling. I was actually recording scientific observations of the far side of the moon. You know, that is actually the time when we were the farthest and the closest to the moon. And so we were really able to make some of our most detailed observations of the far side of the moon up close. And so we were busy up here working really hard. And I must say, it was actually quite nice.
Now, mission specialist Jeremy Hansen was describing the difference between the far side and the near side of the moon.
The gravitational pull of the Earth has had a profound effect on the near side of the moon, changing all those dark mares, those dark patches of the moon you see from Earth. It's very different on the far side. While you see some small patches of those mare in deep craters, it's very much absent on that side, so that's really neat.
And then I want you to hear mission specialist Christina Cook, who talked about so many of the breathtaking moments, but especially one.
I think one of the biggest highlights was coming back from the far side of the moon and having the first glimpses of planet Earth again after being out of communication for about 45 minutes. It really just reminds you what a special place we have and how important it is for our nation to lead and not follow in exploring deep space.
It's amazing. I locked in on watching a lot of this yesterday, and something that I thought about, and I was going to tweet about it, and I said, nope, I'm going to talk about it on the show. And when we look at Artemis II, and we look about everything, some of you have so many positive stories to say about that, because it is so cool, it's so amazing what they are doing all the way as they're heading to places that we've never been before. And then I always wonder why we can't have, and I'm sure they have mentioned what it's like for them to look back down on Earth, and why we can't have the same amazement of where we are right here on Earth. Like this time right here. Like if you were to go up all the way in space and you look down at Earth, you'd be like, wow, it is cool that look at all the human beings and look at the technology and look at all the amazing things they're able to do. And look, they get to live for a certain amount of time, and right. And then after that, it's over. So I just wish that as we get a glimpse, and by the way, this Artemis II is amazing it's amazing for you to be able to watch it. I hope that we keep that same energy and realize we're amazing right here too.
It's true. But I think so often, we get bogged down by the daily tribulations of life. I mean, well, some are more than that. It's paying bills and stresses of life, et cetera, et cetera. Mm-hmm. But to be alive and to be witnessing what we're witnessing in so many ways is incredible. And space has always been one of those few things that cuts through the noise. It's not about being on the left or being on the right or trying to find your tribe. It's exactly what we need right now, I would argue. And we're not just watching a mission and people doing something that has never been done before, but I mean, this is something that is the epitome of talent and teamwork and risk and courage and all these things that I think are desperately in need of and want and admire so much. And it's a reason to root for something together. And I think that's why this one hits me different this time, is because at a time when we're, so often at each other's throats, here is something that we can all cheer. I mean, it is something really cool. Not to mention, this is the proving ground. This was the dress rehearsal for this idea. I mean, I have no desire to ever go either on the moon or go to Mars,
right?
But other people want to.
Right. Yeah, agree. Yeah. Are you got another story?
Well, no. On coming up in What's New at 10, on this historic trip around the moon, one moment that stood out had nothing to do with science. It is my absolute favorite story of the day. It had everything to do with love. So we're going to talk about that coming up in What's New at 10. But right now, let's get back to reality. Because our state is out tens of millions of dollars, and somehow officials are saying there's nothing to see here because a new audit found an estimated $37 million in questionable child care subsidy payments, which is money that may have gone out the door without proper verification. But according now to the Department of Children, Youth, and Families, this is not fraud. In a statement to Como 4 News, the agency says the overpayments don't automatically mean that someone was trying to cheat the system, and they haven't referred a single case for a fraud investigation. And actually, the state auditor agrees, Gee, that there's no clear evidence of fraud, but the auditor says the system itself is the problem. Auditors found that the state was often paying the providers first and then only checking for the paperwork later. And in other words, the department's writing checks and then asking questions afterward. Lawmakers, of course, say that is backwards and it leaves the system ripe for abuse. So now the state is trying to claw some of that money back through repayment plans or wage garnishments or even liens. But I guess my question for all of you and for you, G, is if you're talking about $37 million without proper oversight, how do we know it's not happening right now?
I don't know, but it sure seems like this is what we're talking about a lot
lately.
And so when I was reading this story, I was trying to think of, what kind of story would make me and all of us really understand this? So we hire Richard. Richard is working for the company. And Richard's job is to be in charge of the money that's coming in, right? And then all of a sudden, Sophia goes to Richard and says, hey, Richard, listen, there's a lot of funds that's kind of missing. It seems to be there might be some fraud. And Richard's like, let me check. Richard goes to check on the money. And he says to Sophia, hey, Sophia, let everybody in the company know there was no fraud. And to which Sophia says, okay, well, what happened to the money, Richard? Well, I don't know. I don't know what happened to the money.
But I can't prove fraud.
I can't prove fraud, but I don't know what happened to the money. So the people, the taxpayer, that has been giving out their money all the time are supposed to feel better. Hey, taxpayer, there's no fraud, but we don't know what happened to the money. So that's going to make you feel better. I tell you what now, I'm in the wrong business. I'm in the wrong business. I mean, you can literally have a job where you can tell the people there was no fraud, but we don't know what happened to the money.
Well, speaking about figuring out what happened to the money, King County Executive Vermai Zahalai is going to be joining us in studio coming up next. He's actually going to be able to stay with us for a couple of segments. So we're going to ask him about the money that the Seattle Times investigation recently uncovered, where there are a lot of questions about that, and how he now, as the King County Executive, plans to address that situation. And then he also has this new plan to tackle homelessness, but it might come with a new cost for all of us taxpayers in King County.
All right. He joins us next. Gee Ursula.
Congratulations to KIRO News Radio's Charlie Harger and digital content producer Patrick Janasek, nominated for a Northwest Emmy Award for investigative reporting.
It began with a question from the community. It seemed almost too stunning to be true.
KIRO News Radio is honored to be the only radio station nominated for the prestigious Emmy Award as part of our commitment to impactful storytelling across every platform, reaching into the communities we serve. On KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM.
If you've saved more than $300,000, there's one thing you can do now that could make your savings go twice as far in retirement, and it's tax planning. That's right, tax planning could significantly reduce the taxes on your IRA and 401k withdrawals, Social Security benefits, and other investment income. Charlie Harger here. Find out how much money you could save with a free retirement tax savings analysis from the good people at Boss Retirement Solutions. To schedule your free analysis, call 206-210-1350. Tax planning for retirement could reduce your taxes not just for 1 year, but for the rest of your life. And the savings could be six figures. Let's find out how much money you could save. Call 206-210-1350. 206-210-1350.
For informational purposes only, actual results may vary. No statement contained herein shall constitute tax, legal, or investment advice.
Hey, what a surprise. We got tons of rain here in the Northwest in the late winter into the spring. It all adds up. Now's the time of the year when the ground becomes completely saturated with water, and that can cause real problems in your crawl space. It's Mike Salk here, and groundwater intrusion in crawl spaces, it's pretty common, but it's got to be addressed before it causes structural damage, or even worse, toxic mold in your home. You don't want any part of that. That's why if you're worried about any groundwater in your crawl space, you call Crawl Pros and you get a free corner-to-corner inspection. They'll climb into that crawl space, see what the condition is. They will go where you don't want to, definitely where I didn't want to. They came to my house and handled all this stuff. If they find water, they'll install a groundwater drainage system and a sump pump and reroute that water outside your home's footprint where it belongs. Don't take the risk. Do what I did. Have Crawl Pros come out for that free corner-to-corner inspection. They'll even check your attic at the same time. If you're worried that anything is going on with your crawl space or attic, call Crawl Pros or visit crawlpros.com.
Some people out there love to do things entirely on their own. Others ask for help and trust their resources. When involved in an auto accident, you've got the choice of dealing with insurance on your own or hiring an attorney. I'm joined in studio by Harold D. Carr. He represents Harold Carr Law Offices. Harold, what's one of the main reasons for seeking representation?
If you were to look at statistics, most people end up with a lot less recovery when they don't have a law firm representing them.
And why should they hire Harold Carr Law Offices?
We're not shy about bringing lawsuits. We do try to settle, and insurance companies know that. They know that we're fair in how we talk to them. The answer is really, we are very professional. But we've had cases, big and small, where we've had to take it into litigation, and about 98% of those will settle in mediation. A lot more than the client originally expected.
Visit carlaw.com. That's carlaw.com. 2 R's in car. Car accident? Call Carr.
I had pain. I had numbness in my feet. That pain and that numbness just got worse and worse and worse as time went on.
This is Greg describing life with neuropathy.
I went to 5 podiatrists, tried different treatments, tried different orthotics, tried different shoes, had cortisone shots in the tops and the bottoms of my feet. Saw a neurologist. All my medical doctors said, can't help you. Live with the pain. You're not going to be able to sleep. This is your life. And then I just gave up until I found Sound Pain Solutions.
I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist at Sound Pain Solutions. Our neuropathy treatments can rehabilitate damaged nerves. We use FDA-cleared, non-surgical, drug and pain-free procedures that help neuropathy sufferers like Greg find relief.
I feel better. Just feeling better is huge.
If you experience numbness, shooting or burning pains, or loss of balance, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025, or click soundpainsolutions.com.
Olympic Hot Tub Sweet Spring Savings Event is here. Now through April 14th, thanks to incredible factory discounts, you can save up to $16,500 on an amazing endless pool swim spa. OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Frank Lindsay. A device made by Boeing helped the military find and rescue the Air Force airmen who were shot down over Iran last week. President Trump referred to the device during his news conference Monday.
They have a very sophisticated beeper-type apparatus that is on them at all times.
An Air Force official tells Bloomberg that device is known as the Boeing Combat Survivor Evader Locator. The military has bought thousands of them since 2009. A Seattle area congresswoman among U.S. lawmakers who traveled to Cuba amid rising tensions. Pramila Jayapal met with Cuban leaders and toured hospitals.
Man-made humanitarian crisis. But we need a longer, permanent solution.
President Trump calls the country failed and hints that Cuba could be next, referring to the military actions in Iran and Venezuela. Amazon's made a new deal with the U.S. Postal Service. According to Bloomberg, Amazon will retain about 80% of its existing deliveries with the USPS. It's more than 1 billion packages a year. This deal means the post office will hang on to most of the business from its largest customer. Washington's snowpack at about 50% of normal right now. Matthew Dares with the Washington Department of Natural Resources.
A lot of the Central Cascades have very poor snowpack, some 30% of normal. And it got that way not because we didn't get precipitation, but because it fell mostly as rain, especially in December.
With less snowpack, the concern for wildfires is much higher while the water supply drops during hot and dry summer months.
That's KIRO 7 TV's Allison Amoy. Seattle's Japanese Garden will temporarily shut down this summer for a major restoration project. It will close on June 22nd and reopen July 28th. Crews will rebuild a deteriorating north retaining wall using traditional Japanese stonework. Project aims to preserve the garden's historic design for future generations. Thousands of people expected to get free care when the Seattle King County Clinic returns April 23rd through the 26th. That clinic at Seattle Center provides dental, vision, medical, and behavioral health services, along with mammograms, x-rays, lab tests, and social work help. On Wall Street at this hour, the Dow is down 222 points, the NASDAQ down 142, and the S&P is down 28 points. KIRO News Radio traffic, nothing too major out there right now. Travel times, Everett to Seattle, about 31 minutes. Alderwood to South Center, if you take 405, only take you 51 minutes. Normally, it's about a 71-minute drive this time of day. And if you take I-5, it's only about a half an hour drive. Federal Way to Seattle, take you 32 minutes. And if you're heading from Federal Way to Bellevue, that is a 43-minute trip right now. This traffic report is brought to you by the Emerald Queen Casino. Jim Jeffries, the Australian stand-up powerhouse, comes to the Emerald Queen Casino June 18th, only at the Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. Weather forecast, calling for clouds this morning, but then this afternoon should be sunny, 56 degrees. More sunshine on Wednesday and Thursday with highs in the low to mid-60s, up to about 69 degrees on Friday, and then the showers come back over the weekend with highs in the 50s. 48 degrees right now in downtown Seattle. I'm Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Welcome back to the Gee and Ursula Show. It is 9:33 on this Tuesday morning. A scathing audit and investigation are raising serious questions about how King County is handling your tax dollars. We're talking about problems inside the county's homelessness and human services system, where audits and reporting from the Seattle Times pointed to weak oversight, poor tracking, and millions of dollars that may not have been properly accounted for. So we've been trying to get to the bottom of how this happened and what is being done to fix it. And joining us now in studio, I'm happy to say, is King County Executive Gurmai Zahalai. Thank you so much for joining us, first of all.
Thank you so much for having me, Ursula. Gee, good to be here with you both.
So you may have heard, but Council Member Rod Dembowski was in the hot seat last time. And we were happy that you had agreed to come on because we're going to ask you some tough questions because our listeners and taxpayers want to know, like, what is happening? We're talking about a lot of money. So let's start with the core issue, the audits. Found breakdowns in oversight within the homelessness and human services programs. When you saw those findings, what do you think specifically went wrong and why?
Yeah, thank you so much for the opportunity to talk to you all. I think it's really important that elected officials, people in positions of power, come before great journalists like yourself and talk about issues like this. I would say that absent some actual bad actors, I think the overall issue is a systemic failure, which is that during the pandemic, King County received lots of new resources from the federal government. This was a time of emergency, and we made conscious decisions to get dollars out of the door as quickly as possible because people were in crisis, right? People needed rental assistance, people needed food assistance, people needed masks and vaccines, and there are a lot of smaller organizations that are able to reach the most vulnerable populations more effectively than a big organization or King County itself can because they have more authentic relationships, they're closer to the ground, they live in the very neighborhoods that we want to most help. And so there was a conscious decision to lower barriers for organizations like that to participate, which means there is more of an assumption of risk. At the same time, the resources that were available grew very rapidly. I think you read in the reports like the grants programs grew by like 95%. They almost doubled in a very short period of time. The infrastructure needed to hold those dollars and these systems accountable, the oversight, the financial controls, the boots on the ground auditing, those types of systems did not keep pace with the growth of those resources. And so while I could say that they're just, bad employees or bad actors or what, I think really what the heart of this is that leadership did not put enough resources into oversight and financial controls to keep pace with the growth of the resources that are needed when you're partnering with organizations that might not have the same kind of technical capacity to deliver in a more accountable way. So at the end of the day, that's an explanation, not a justification. It is unacceptable any misuse of dollars, any risk that we are adding to taxpayer dollars. We need to be accountable for that, and we need to change that, and that's exactly what my administration is doing.
So what have you fixed right now? What have you fixed? What's still broken, and who is going to be held accountable?
Absolutely. So first of all, this is month 3 or 4 of this new administration, and on my first 100 days in office, the big policy direction that I announced was accountability, performance, transparency. I did an executive order on one of my top priorities, which is better government. And so that directive says that King County is going to have an overarching commitment to performance. That means that we're going to measure our success based on the outcomes that we deliver and not based on how much money we spend or how many new programs we launch. It means we're going to be accountable. I hired a new internal audit director that's already started. This is going to be somebody that is going to proactively assess risk, identify issues throughout all of the departments. I announced a sub-cabinet that's focused on accountability and transparency, meaning all of my top department directors are going to be meeting very regularly to find these types of risks and eliminate them proactively and not wait for the independent auditor to give us a bad grade on our report card, but we're actually going out there and aggressively doing it. For the first time in the history of King County, we're going to do something called base budgeting, which means we're not just going to roll over the entire budget, like 95% of it from year to year without taking a close look at what's actually being funded. We're going to start from the bottom up and say everything's on the table. We're going to analyze everything. We're going to find programs that are not producing the results that they are intended to. We're going to find risks. We're going to build the budget from the bottom up. And so there are so many different things that we're doing, and I'm very confident that once we implement all of these measures, we're going to be held to the standard that I know this government can be.
Executive, this feels like a fog machine. And what I mean by fog machine is I think it is awesome. I'm going to ask you, I'm going to come back to what you guys plan on doing because the people are going to want to know. We want to see a timeline, but I want to go back because I know the future is great. But I want to go back. Was it incompetence or broken system the reason why the funds were mismanaged? Forget the future. Let's talk about what happened because you weren't the leader then, but you were on the King County Council, right? Dow Constantine was the leader. So we want to know, was it a broken system or was it incompetence?
Broken system was how I would describe it.
Okay, and how long will it take for that broken system to be fixed?
I think it's being fixed as we speak, right? We want to make sure that we're putting in place the proper financial controls. The auditor, when they identified these issues, made a list of several recommendations, and DCHS, the specific department that's in question right now, is on track to meet all of them. You know, making sure that all of our employees are doing the fraud training, making sure that we have proper financial controls like site visits to actually put eyes and ears on the ground when we give an organization some dollars. Those types of recommendations that the auditor said, they're up on a website right now. People can check them out as we speak and see that they're making progress. And it's unacceptable that this happened, and we're going to change it.
Executive, one of the things that is so frustrating is that you hear about this, and I know that the department head who was in charge of this particular agency is no longer there, right? I mean, so that's one of the things. But people want to know, like, who's being held accountable? And there was something that your colleague, Councilmember Dembowski, said last week that was really striking to me.
These organizations, which were really the ones identified by the auditor, in most cases didn't have the experience, didn't have the capacity to, I think maybe they were more optimistic than capable to deliver on some of the programs. They fell down.
I want to make sure that you're able to hear it. You didn't have headphones on, so here it is.
These organizations, which were really the ones identified by the auditor, in most cases didn't have the experience, didn't have the capacity to, I think maybe they were more optimistic than capable to deliver on some of the programs. They fell down. There's also some that just defrauded us. People clearly stole money. You can just see it. And I am very frustrated that there has not been more action to have accountability on that. We're going to have a report coming out pretty soon from a private accounting firm, Clark Newber, who we've hired to review those contracts. And that, I think, can serve as the basis to take next steps in terms of civil recoveries and perhaps even criminal cases.
I think taxpayers want to know. I mean, if there was criminal activity involved, an actual theft, outright theft, that someone's held accountable or some people are held accountable, and the county doesn't do business with them.
Absolutely. 100% agree with that statement. If there was a crime committed, there will be accountability. Full stop.
You mentioned you did agree to the part where you said broken system. I want to go back into that broken system. And in order for a system to find out if it's broke or working, these organizations would have to be vetted. On a scale of 1 to 10, where would you say King County was, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being really good at the vetting process for these folks out here that help mismanage the funds?
I would say we weren't doing enough.
Scale of 1 to 10.
I can't give a specific number, but clearly when you're talking about the scale of the mishaps that happened, it wasn't good.
I would say the King County taxpayers believe that you guys were probably about a 1. Considering it was really bad.
Absolutely.
So right now, I do know about your executive order that happened. What deadlines should the public hold you to in the year 2026 where they can say, okay, I feel better. It does not feel like a fog machine.
Right now. Absolutely. Right now. We have hired the internal audit director. We're doing the base budget analysis. We're implementing performance measures. We're already, DCHS is already doing way more site visits and making sure that they have eyes and ears on the ground when grant dollars are going out. And let's be very clear that there are trade-offs here, right? If you want to trust community organizations and you want to make sure that they're delivering services on behalf of the people they serve, micromanaging them and doing the level of site visits and the level of control, that has trade-offs, which means I'm hearing from community organizations now saying it's hard for us to do our jobs with you breathing down our necks. It's hard for us to keep pace with the amount of reporting and tracking and requirements. That takes resources. That takes staffing. That takes our hands away from the actual delivery of the services. And so finding the right balance is what we're trying to do, because I believe that equity and accountability are not mutually exclusive, right? We have to have a commitment to community organizations that deliver services in an authentic way. And we have to have the proper protocols and systems in place to make sure tax dollars are being used appropriately. And so this is not an abandoning of quote unquote trust community. This is, let's get our own house in order, and then we can deliver the services as effectively as possible.
You are listening to King County Executive Gurmai Zahalai. You have agreed to stay with us for another segment. We appreciate that. And you are rolling out a new plan to tackle homelessness in the middle of all of this. Given the issues that we're talking about, we want to hear what's going to be new, how you're going to hold folks accountable and show results.
Yep.
And we'll have that conversation coming up next.
Sounds great. Thank you.
You didn't work hard to watch your retirement unravel. You saved, you sacrificed, you built something meaningful for yourself and for your family. Hi, I'm elder law attorney Rajiv Nagaich. I've seen what happens when unexpected health events collide with traditional retirement plans. Savings that took decades to build drains away faster than anyone expected. At LifePoint Law, we help you build a life plan to help you protect your assets and way of life. If you are retired or thinking about retiring, now is the time to double-check your retirement plan.
Retirement doesn't have to feel like a gamble. With straightforward planning and clear answers, LifePoint Law replaces fear with clarity, but only if you start now. Attend the next seminar Tuesday, April 7th in Bremerton, the 9th in Olympia, or the 11th in Federal Way. Seats are limited. Sign up now at lifepointlaw.com. Visit lifepointlaw.com today.
April showers bring May who am I kidding? We live in Western Washington. The only thing April showers bring are clogged and overflowing gutters, which can damage your home from your roof to your foundation. Hey, this is Jake Skorheim, and my friends at Valentine Roofing are ready to come to your rescue. Right now, you can bundle and save 10% off your entire job when you add new gutters to any new roofing project. Plus, Valentine also offers gutter guards to help keep leaves and needles out for good, giving you an additional layer of defense against clogged and overflowing gutters. Having Valentine out at my house and seeing their professionalism and attention to detail, it's no surprise Valentine Roofing was awarded the 2025 Gold for Best Roofing Company and Silver for Best Gutter Company by the Seattle Times Best in the Pacific Northwest Awards. You deserve the best too, so schedule your free roofing and gutter estimate today to bundle and save 10%. Just call 206 Roofing. That's 206 Roofing. And remember, when you see the red Valentine van, you know your home is in good hands.
Not sure how to tackle your taxes? Are you sweating the small print? You may be experiencing FOMO, the fear of messing up. The answer? Using TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They help you get your biggest refund, and then we help you do more with it with a personalized plan designed to help you hit your money goals. It's time to take your taxes to the max. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
Pump up the volume. Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
Hey homeowners, are you stuck on the credit card treadmill and stressed because your consumer debt and monthly payments are too high? Well, Brock Hewitt here with a smart solution. Your home's equity in the Seattle Metro is probably larger than ever. It's like you're sitting on a stack of cash. Consider a cash-out refinance with Tila Mortgage to consolidate your high-balance credit cards, second mortgages, home equity lines of credit, and student loans, or get cash for a remodel. With interest rates finally coming down, consolidating your debt now may be the best decision you ever make. With excellent client reviews and trusted in Washington for over 25 years, Tila has competitive rates on refinance, purchase, or reverse mortgages too. Tila, spelled T-I-L-A, is a name you can trust for truthful, honest, and ethical advice for all your mortgage needs. Call Tila Mortgage today, 206-766-8888. That's 206-766-8888 or
TILA, TILAMortgage.com.
Kilo Mortgage LLC is a mortgage broker. NMLS 2472046.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our client's portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more, and then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Thanks for calling CM Heating.
Aren't you the company that gives away free furnaces?
That's us. Buy a qualifying high-efficiency cooling system and the furnace is free.
Wow.
Yeah, and our home comfort advisors are tax credit and rebate specialists, so they'll handle the rebate for you.
Go to CM Heating for better comfort, lower bills, and a free furnace you'll love for years. Get your free estimate for furnace replacement at cmheating.com. And remember, for furnaces, fireplaces, hot water, and total home comfort, including electrical, there's no beating CM Heating.
That's right. You're hearing from King County Executive Gurmaiza Alai right here on the Gee and Ursula Show. And I got to tell you, Ursula, the King County Executive does not duck the smoke. And when I say duck the smoke, that means he's willing to come in and answer hard questions. Now, my co-host, she wants to start asking you about this homelessness plan that you have and new taxes.
Okay, I'm going to get to the potentially additional costs for us who live in King County. But you announced that you want to build an additional 500 housing units in 500 days. Explain your plan.
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, I'll start off with the problem statement. We have a homelessness crisis in this region. It's no secret. Every single year, if you poll the community and ask people what they care about, homelessness is always number one. Not to mention that we have thousands of people, our neighbors, our brothers and sisters, our family members living outside. When we did the point in time count a couple years ago in 2024, we found that there were 16,000 people sleeping outside every single night. If you did that same poll 2 years before that, it was 14,000. If you did it 2 years before that, it was 12,000. So the number of people sleeping outside every night is only growing. And there are many reasons for that, right? We have an astronomical cost of living. We have a massive shortage of affordable housing. We have behavioral health issues. We have violence. We have trauma. We have a criminal justice system where people come into King County's custody and they might be discharged before they have any next place to go. And so the way that I'm phrasing this problem is as a cycle. It's not just that people are sleeping out on the streets. It's that they have overlapping issues, oftentimes distinct issues, but also intertwined on a population level. People are experiencing homelessness, addiction, mental health issues, trauma, sometimes committing crime, ending up in the King County Jail, and then leaving these systems without a next step. So my goal is, number one, to bring all these systems together so that they are in better coordination with each other, so that somebody is not going from one part of the system to the next without that proper next step and that proper care. So I'm forming a work group to bring them all together and really collaborate. I'm making sure that we have a policy team in the King County Executive's office that is expert on these issues and constantly driving that policy forward. And we're also committed to starting off with a goal of 500 units within 500 days. That's not the end. That is not the complete picture of what is needed. That is just to keep us on an aggressive timeline so that we can build as many roofs over people's heads, coordinated with behavioral health services, addiction care, all of the other things that people need. And finally, we're also exploring the possibility of a new revenue source to stabilize the system and build enough units over people's heads. And I know you're going to have some questions about that,
yes,
and I'm ready to answer them.
Yeah, I will ask that in a second, because it seems you described that the homeless population in King County has grown year over year. I have been here long enough to have heard previous executives, previous Seattle mayors talking about their new plan to end homelessness. So what specifically is in your plan that is going to be different and is going to be more effective than what we have seen so far?
Number one, I have learned enough to not come out with some big dramatic statement that we're going to end homelessness with this initiative, right? My goal is for us to work more effectively together. First of all, by recognizing that all of these issues are interconnected, right? I'm not just talking about roofs over people's heads. I'm not just talking about substance use care. I'm not just talking about involvement in the criminal justice system. I'm saying all of it needs to work better together. And right now, there doesn't exist a platform for all these systems, all these people within these systems to come together, collaborate, and coordinate. So that's number one. And number two, I want to make sure that we have the functional accountability so that we're tracking how somebody's moving through these systems and that they're ending up, we're investing in the things that actually work. So my good governance plan that we were just talking about before, which says that you have to produce results in order to keep getting funding. That's going to be baked into this plan as well, that we want to make sure that we're doing an assessment. If you are moving people from the street and into a stable next step and you're showing us that result on a regular basis, you're going to get more resources. If you're not, we're going to move away from you.
Okay, that's encouraging. The Regional Homelessness Authority, which quite frankly has turned into a debacle, is that something that's still part of the plan?
They're going to be working with us around citing people and finding these properties and activating them with more shelter and with more housing. So the plan is for them to be with us and part of the system, and we need to make it better.
King County Executive, Gurmaza Alai, I just want to say, will you come back next month?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and the reason why is because Ursula and I, we have many more questions.
Oh, my God.
We appreciate the fact that you came to the hot seat right there, no doubt. And so if we could get you back next month so we can ask you more questions, see where we are, and just kind of develop a relationship a little bit.
I'd love to do that.
And just real quick, because I know we're so out of time, but this new, you're talking about new money. Just real quick, tell us what that is, because that's important.
So it is not an announcement for a new tax. It is exploring it and taking into an accounting of how does this impact people's cost of living, right?
So it's not a done deal.
It's not a done deal because I've never seen the level of tax sensitivity that we're seeing out in our community right now.
Let me pull up to your meeting and tell you. We don't want no more taxes.
I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah, no,
so that's why in my remarks I said, if you're going to do an analysis and bring me a proposal for a new housing levy, I want you to show me how the trade-off is worth it. Because if you're increasing people's property taxes and you're pricing them out of their home, is that the trade-off that's needed to build more housing? I'm not going to take that as a done deal or as an assumption. Somebody has to show me their work.
Thank you for coming by.
Thank you so much.
We'll see you next month.
Absolutely.
We'll see you next month.
Thank you so much.
There's the King County Executive. Really appreciate him. Ursula, he did not duck the smoke. He came.
Did not. I almost want a third segment.
All right. More to Gee Ursula Show next.
Voted best of Western Washington. Ranked #1 senior living community in America. Aegis Living, Washington's most luxurious assisted living and memory care. Schedule a tour today at aegisliving.com/KIRO and get a special take-home gift. Aegis Living, this must be the place.
The stock market was on fire in 2025 due to AI and tech stocks. Now is the time to set a strategy for 2026. It's a good opportunity to lock in those gains and invest into a stable platform. With $8 trillion in cash sitting on the sidelines, investors are either scared or unsure where to go. Hi, I'm Scott Rurecka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Legacy Group Capital develops local real estate, lends money, and shares the profits with our investors. Diversify with Legacy Group Capital. Invest into our Northwest Fund, which is currently delivering 9% on a fixed rate term. It's our flagship fund for 19 years with zero investor losses. And yes, we do accept IRAs. Find out why 1,300 local investors have invested over $350 million.
Legacy Group Capital at legacyg.com. This is not investment advice. Investments available to accredited investors only. Details at legacyg.com.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
My name is Christine, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, was a healthy 34-year-old, and 3 months later, he was gone. Thankfully, he had life insurance. Ethos made it so easy. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. 100% online, no medical exam. Life insurance didn't take away the loss, but it did give us the space to just grieve.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/protect. ethos.com/protect. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Your VA loan and reverse mortgage experts for 34 years. Best Mortgage is proud to be the longest-running mortgage company on KIRO Radio. Get a no-pressure consultation from a real person, never an AI bot. Web search Best Mortgage for honest advice you can trust.
KIRO FM and HD1 Tacoma, Seattle. This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Cammie McCormick. More threats from President Trump against Iran as Linda Kenyon reports from the White House.
President Trump posted on social media saying, quote, "A whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. I don't want that to happen, but it probably will," unquote. This follows a weekend posting peppered with expletives that said, quote, "Tuesday will be Power Plant Day and Bridge Day, all wrapped up in one in Iran. There will be nothing like it," unquote. The threat, which said bombing will begin at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, comes as the White House rejects claims that Vice President J.D. Vance implied nuclear weapons might be used against Iran. Linda Kenyon, CBS News, the White House.
Correspondent Elizabeth Palmer with the Iranian response.
We have seen a message go out from the Revolutionary Guards to patriots, if you like, saying, show up tonight and surround power stations and become human shields. I think it's a safe bet to say that some of the Iranian pro-regime supporters will either feel obliged to go or go and do that.
There was an attack today near a high-rise building in Istanbul that houses the Israeli consulate. One gunman was killed and 2 police officers injured. CBS's Rami Inocencio with more.
Consulate, just for logistics, is just a minute or two away, basically in the same block from where this shootout happened. The consulate on the upper floor, but we understand also that no Israeli diplomats are stationed in Turkey because of ties that are getting worse between Turkey and Israel because of the Gaza war and, of course, now in the war in Iran.
And Iranian-backed militia in Iraq says it will release American journalist Shelley Kittleson, who was kidnapped in Baghdad last week. Voters in Georgia's 14th congressional district will decide who will replace former Republican Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene. Republican Clay Fuller, backed by President Trump, is running against Democrat Sean Harris.
I'm a 45, 47 and onward guy. What he says to vote for, that's who we're going to vote for.
This is even more important now than ever, is to see what the candidate has to say.
The crew of the Artemis II is preparing for a return to Earth after a spectacular flyby of the moon. Space consultant Bill Harwood.
They're going to brief the scientists later, talking about the observations they made. They're going to start packing up that capsule because if you've seen all the video of the crew inside, it's fairly cramped. And then for re-entry day, which is Friday, they're going to hit the atmosphere at 25,000 miles per hour.
On Wall Street at this hour, stocks are lower because of concerns about the war in Iran. The Dow off 226. This is CBS News.
What is going on?
What's going on here? How is this possible? Great storytelling starts here.
Oh, come on.
Why? It's time for 60 Minutes.
Another area city has turned off its flock cameras, at least for now. We'll tell you which one and why. First, though, we got to get a look at your traffic situation. Westbound SR 18 in the Tiger Mountain area. The semi-truck on its side. There are 80,000 pounds of potatoes in that truck. It's on the shoulder. The potatoes have not spilled, but you should expect delays because when the tow truck gets there, they're going to have to shut down the westbound lanes of Highway 18. Again, that's in the Tiger Mountain area. Also got some road work blocking 3 left southbound lanes of 2nd Avenue from Cherry Street to James, and all westbound lanes from James from 4th Avenue to 2nd Avenue in Seattle right now. This traffic report is brought to you by Seattle Sports. Download the Seattle Sports app to stay in the know with the latest news, scores, and opinions. about your favorite teams.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning. I'm Frank Lindsay. While gas prices continue to rise, at least one state has implemented a gas tax holiday to give drivers a temporary break. KIRO News Radio's John Repp looks at the possibility of it happening here.
While the state of Georgia has a gas tax holiday, there's no political will to make a similar move here. In the meantime, fuel distributors are clarifying.
Whether diesel is $3 a gallon or $7 a gallon, we as distributors make the same amount of money.
Jeff Small tells KIRO 7 he's dealing with the same rising costs that you are.
And we have to use diesel in our trucks to move diesel around.
In the meantime, analysts question if gas tax holidays make much of a difference in what consumers pay over the long term. John Repp, KIRO News Radio.
Renton joins Seattle, Redmond, and Linwood in pausing license plate reader cameras under a new state law. In the meantime, Renton Police Chief John Schultz says losing access recently kept detectives from tracking a homicide suspect's vehicle.
For us, it's a real game changer for investigations, and we want it up and running as soon as we can.
City's now working to put new policies in place to comply with the new state law. The Mukilteo Speedway about to get some much-needed TLC. The section from I-5 to SR-99 has not been repaved in 2 decades. WashDOT's Marcus Humberg says drivers should expect construction through the summer.
We'll have several closures, including full directional closures of SR-525. And that's basically to go in there, grind out all of that old, worn-out pavement, and provide you with a new, much smoother driving surface.
The north end of SR-525 will be repaved later this year from Harbor Point Boulevard to the Mukilteo Ferry Dock. And Seattle is paying a 6-figure price for a bus line error. The Seattle Times reports Rapid Ride G-Line platforms on Madison Street were built too high, making access difficult for riders who use walkers or wheelchairs. Crews had to repave parts of the roadway. SDOT says those repairs will run about $650,000. Weather forecast calling for some sunshine later today after these clouds burn off. 56 degrees for a high. Sunny, 61 on Wednesday. Sunny and 65 on Thursday. We should hit 69 degrees on Friday. Then the showers return over the weekend and we'll have highs back down into the 50s. 47 degrees right now in Seattle. I'm Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show with G. Scott and Ursula Reutin.
Hey, good morning, everybody. It is the Gee and Ursula Show. Appreciate you all hanging out with the show today. Ursula, we had the King County Executive on last segment.
Yes.
What was your takeaway from that interview? I can give you mine
I feel
first.
like we just started scratching the surface.
Yeah.
I feel like we could have dug in a little deeper, and we'll need to do that with the continued conversations. But I appreciated what I took away was that I appreciated him coming in. He knew he was going to be facing a lot of criticism.
Right.
And he's going to have to convince voters that under his leadership now, that the money and the taxpayer money and funds that we are giving are going to be watched over better than they had in the previous administration. I mean, he was part of the county council. He's now county executive.
Yeah.
He explained. He didn't try to justify. And that is the one thing that I appreciate. They screwed up.
My 3 things that I take away from it, and I'm glad that he agreed to come back on in May, because we do need to speak to him. 1, he admitted that it was a broken system. Okay, so obviously we will want to talk about that and address that again in May. 2, he admitted that they had a terrible vetting process. They admitted that.
Yeah.
And 3, they also admitted there still has been no accountability. So in May, they will have those 3 things are going to come back up again, because the accountability part, we're not letting that go.
No. And the homelessness crisis, he said it's not a done deal on whether there are going to be new taxes involved. And he's very mindful and is listening and has heard from a lot of people who are saying we're too stretched. So I appreciated that as well.
Yeah. And one last thing I will say, I said that I didn't believe anybody from the King County Council or the executive would come in. The fact that they did come in.
Yeah, 2 in a row.
Two in a row.
Thank you, Rod Dembowski, and now King County Executive.
Respect.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, we have a lot more guests for you, too. That is something that we are going to be putting an emphasis on in 2026. As always, we invite you to join us on the Muckleshoot Casino Resort text line, 888-973-5476, 888-973-KIRO.
What's new at 10?
Want to choose joy again because I want to go back to the Artemis 2 mission.
Okay.
And one of my favorite things about this story is what happened yesterday. There was a really emotional moment. During the crew's moon flyby yesterday, the team stopped by an unnamed crater and they called down to Mission Control to name the crater after Mission Commander Reed Wiseman's late wife. Listen to this.
We lost a loved one. Her name was Carol, the spouse of Reed, the mother of Katie and Ellie. And if you want to find this one, you look at Glushko, and it's just to the northwest of that, at the same latitude as Ohm, and it's a bright spot on the moon. And we would like to call it Carol, and you spell that C-A-R-R-O-L-L.
So Carol Wiseman passed away in 2020. She was only 46 years old, and she had cancer. And they had two daughters. They have two daughters, Ellie and Catherine. And apparently, Reed Wiseman almost gave up his goal of becoming an astronaut when his wife was diagnosed. But she said, no, you can't do that. That's your dream. And encouraged him to continue pursuing it. And before the launch, Reed posted a selfie in front of the rocket with his daughters saying, I love these two ladies, and I'm boarding that rocket a very proud father.
Amazing story. And one of the things that I thought about with this story is the resilience of the kids. You lose your mother in 2020, and this whole thing isn't a guarantee for your father, right? And so you take that photo before your dad gets ready to go up.
There are risks.
Again, but there's been that thing, right, where kids, we have talked about how kids are resilient. This story is amazing from the standpoint of the way that his widow, his wife then encouraged him to keep going.
I love that.
And wanted to, empowered him to keep going. And I'm sure that that probably gave him just that much more motivation to continue.
No, I love that. Okay, we're going to talk about affordability in our state. I'm curious, and text us, Muckleshoot Casino Resort text line, 888-973-5476, 888-973-KIRO. Besides gas, what have you been struck with when you have paid for something and you're like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe how much that costs right now? Because we're talking about affordability. So obviously rent, obviously gas right now. But right now, our state is the 5th most expensive state in the country, and the affordability gap is widening. This was released by the Washington Roundtable. And it finds that Washington households are spending more on average with housing, utilities, healthcare, food, transportation, all of those things taking up 60% pretty much of our consumer spending. And the only ones ahead of us are California, D.C., Jersey, and Hawaii. And we talk a lot about gas, and the average cost of gas went up again this morning, unfortunately. Biggest change is housing and utilities up by 62%. Food costs are up by 50%.
Right. You ask, okay, obviously, yes, we all gas. That's something that we can see the visual number by your house. Mine is, years ago, about 15, 16 years ago, Ursula, there would be a time where I knew maybe once a month, maybe every couple months, there would be a splurge.
Yes.
That I can go to the good old grocery store, and Costco would have 3 packs of steaks. And I'd get that 3-pack, it'd be like $30. You know what I'm saying? And it would be like, oh, that was a nice little splurge. But that same pack these days going, it's $80, $70, $80. So when I see that visually, I can say right there, I think the biggest impact that we all see is the groceries. And the reason why it's gas and groceries, because these are things that we see every week. Your insurance bill, that's probably kind of fixed for the year or for the 6 months. Your car payment is fixed. Your mortgage and or your rent, those things are fixed. So the things that we probably pay attention to and focus on, and we actually have research around, is gas and groceries.
Yeah.
Right away.
Well, and that's in fact what people are saying right now. Mike in Seattle says Costco organic eggs was $7.99. Now it's $11.99. All restaurants and fast food prices. True. I told you I went to Subway the other day and got a 6-inch, which probably wasn't even 6 inches, and it was almost $13. Just the sandwich alone. I didn't even get a cookie. Nothing.
We went to go have Mediterranean food.
Yeah.
We each got a plate. I got a sparkling water. Lillian got a diet soda. With everything, it came to $67.
No.
It was $67. And I sat there, I was just like, wow.
Dave in the 253, I know, electricity, he says, jumped from $240 in October, November to $370 last month. Matthew, you know I paid $15 for 2 birthday cards.
Hey,
what?
Stop,
those have been going.
Stop right there. Stop. Can we? Let's get a timeout. Let's get a timeout. Thank you, Matthew. Thank you, Matthew, because you have just touched on something that I've been wanting to talk about for a long time. Matthew says I paid $15 for 2 birthday cards. Can we talk about something, y'all?
That's getting outrageous. It's the cost of a gift at this point.
Can we just, hey, you young folks, can we be done with the Hallmark cards? Can we be done with that?
Wait.
No. Here's why. It's ridiculous.
Can Hallmark be done with gouging us?
I mean, they're not going to stop because we keep feeling that pressure.
I told my kids that my biggest gift is their card.
No, and Lillian, all she does every time she gets a card from me and she keeps it, right? Everybody keeps the cards, and when I look at it,
expensive.
You know what I want to do? I want to go sell her stack so I can. You know what I'm saying? She got about
cut it out.
She got about $700 in cards, right? So can we stop with the cards? It's just too much money.
It is outrageous, and if you get those. Not the papyrus ones, but the ones that are really cut out and real special.
Paper stores.
And you're like, wait a minute, this is like $20 practically.
So,
okay.
Gee, with your birthday this weekend, do you want people just not to give you birthday cards?
No, don't give me.
He likes other kinds of cards.
You guys know, Tamara, the outrageous cost of cards is diabolical.
Yes, it is.
Okay, I'm done.
Okay, your mortgage isn't set if you have an arm. Okay, yeah. About a week ago, Adolfo paid over $12 for just a Whopper with cheese. That's it. Yeah, so people are saying they're cutting back on restaurants.
Do y'all remember when Whoppers with cheese was 99 cents? But I'll tell you exactly what it was. 1996.
Okay.
1996.
Can I tell you? Can I tell you, though? If you're not using the apps, you need to use the apps. There are some deals on there.
Okay.
So I'm just going to try to give you my little tidbits of how you can try to beat these crazy prices. Because the apps, I mean, obviously you can cook more at home. But even that, I mean, you're talking about more expensive eggs.
Yeah.
But in any case, so yeah, unfortunately, that is not changing. But you know what a lot of people are doing right now? Because we're heading into peak summer travel season and costs are still high. We talked about the high cost of renting. So now people are doing home swaps. More Americans are skipping the hotels and short-term rentals, and they're doing. Okay, I know your brain went somewhere else. Yeah, I do know you. The people don't stay in the homes. You vacate the home when you do the swap.
I don't know how you knew what the heck I was thinking.
I know exactly.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, so CBS's Evan Moon explains how this whole thing works, G.
The house swapping travel trend is taking off, with popular platforms Home Exchange and Kindred seeing memberships surge.
This is a real lived-in place.
I'm currently home swapping in beautiful Sedona, Arizona.
We met with 2 New York-based swappers.
I've hosted over 200 nights.
I've had a lot of guests come stay at my place.
They say the experience offers more than a hotel.
I have found that staying in real people's homes and real neighborhoods leads to a much more authentic experience of the location.
My home here is, it's big, it's bright, it's beautiful, and I love sharing it with people.
And as travel costs rise, the biggest draw is affordability.
I've saved tens of thousands of dollars with Kindred. That's just the bottom line.
Home Exchange has a $235 annual membership fee for unlimited free stays all year, no extra costs. Kindred has no annual membership with minimal cleaning and service fees per stay. Swaps are credit-based in what's called a give-to-get model.
Reciprocal one-to-one home swaps, or you can earn nights by letting another member stay while you're out.
Both companies have homes in over 150 cities around the world, from small apartments for solo travelers to family homes and even luxury properties.
Okay, what say you, G? Would you ever do a home swap? You have a beautiful home. You and Lillian have a beautiful home, and you love to travel. I already know the answer. It's no.
No, it's no.
I have considered it, and when I retire eventually, years from now, I would totally consider it. I think it's because you also kind of get into swapping for similar types of homes. I mean, you're not. There's, gee, your brain is someplace where I'm afraid to probe.
Kara, the cleaning lady, just made me laugh. I was fine until Kara started it.
She said, "Gee, we're not talking about wife swaps. This is correct."
Because everyone can read through the lines.
Listen, can we use another word? It just throws me off.
Exchange.
No, Ursula, why would you do it? I wouldn't do this. Why would you do it?
You get to actually, when you're in a hotel. I love hotels, first of all. But when you're in a hotel, you're like a tourist. When you're in someone's home, living in their neighborhood, not in the touristy part of town. But let's say I want to swap homes with someone who lives in France. Okay. I'm going to go to Paris and live in a neighborhood in Paris. They're going to come to Seattle and live in a neighborhood in Seattle. They're not going to be just downtown.
Right.
They're going to, see how people live. Here, and I will, again, vice versa.
Okay. Now let me just be serious for a second on this topic of home switching. Okay,
switching.
Okay. Has there ever been a time that you go? I'm being serious for all the folks that understand and talk about energy. Is there ever a time, Ursula, that you go in someone's home and you just you don't feel at peace? You feel a bad energy. Now, maybe you can't say that on the air, but I'll speak for myself. Sometimes I can go in someone's home and I can feel a bad energy.
Yes.
So my problem would be, let's say we pull up to France.
Plus, you're nosy, and you're digging in the drawers.
For sure. But if we go pull up to France, and let's say it's not within 30 minutes, not just the neighborhood I don't like, but the house I don't like, that's a miserable trip.
It is.
Miserable.
But that's part of the excitement.
See, that doesn't sound exciting to me.
I know.
That's why I don't like.
That's why I said I'm going to wait until I'm retired and I have,
time.
Okay. Because you don't want your only 2 weeks or 3 weeks out of the year ruined because you've got a bad energy house.
But I was going to say, G, couldn't the same be said about Airbnbs? Like, you don't know the energy of an Airbnb. So you don't also stay in Airbnbs ever.
That's why I like hotels. No. You're right. You're 100%. Because you could go to an Airbnb. It's an amazing house, but the owner of the Airbnb is the worst. Or you go to the house like we did in Canada. Remember, we went to Vancouver, BC, and can't call it that anymore. The main bedroom was locked.
Yeah, because they're smart. Because there are certain areas they know they don't want people snooping.
So Lily and I slept on a dang twin.
Okay, yeah, that's not right.
Oh, we slept on top of each other.
That's not right. You got ripped off. Yeah, that's not right. I've also, though, conversely, been at an Airbnb that was incredible in Lake Chelan. That was great memories. So I wouldn't mind doing a home swap.
And I want just one more thing.
You have to do your research and read the reviews.
Yeah.
So you're not going to get.
You ever have your children clean the bathroom and they say, the bathroom's clean.
And then you go in.
And you're like,
you lift the lid.
So my point is, everyone's definition of a clean bathroom is different. So if I pull up to France and a house swap, and the bathroom is nasty, then what?
Then you go get a cleaner. You go get a cleaning brush and brush it off yourself.
That was a fun segment. Hey, let's see what Sophia has here. Coming up at 10:30. Oh, when they say the American dream, text us, 888-973-5476. Tell us what that means to you. Do that next. Gee Ursula.
The sun is shining. It's a beautiful day for baseball.
At T-Mobile Park, you've always got the best seat in the house. Case in point, your ticket might be for the view level, but it's more like Skyline City. Up here, it's hard to say what'll take your breath away first. The gorgeous Seattle sunsets or the spectacular views of every incredible play. If you like value with the view, it's the perfect place to take quality time with the family to a whole new level. Literally.
A bases clearing, 3-run double. Everybody on their feet here at T-Mobile Park.
Mariners baseball. Trident's up.
The Mariners' schedule is jam-packed with epic events. Be here for Ichiro Replica Statue Night Friday, April 10th, presented by BDA. Humpy Shoulder Plush Night Saturday, April 11th, thanks to Microsoft. And Randy Johnson Number Retirement Night Saturday, May 2nd, presented by T-Mobile. Get your tickets at mariners.com.
Well, there's nothing I hate worse than being cold. And if your house is feeling a bit drafty or the floors of the main level are way too cold on your feet, that's probably because your crawl space and attic don't have enough insulation. It's probably making your furnace work overtime. So now you're spending more money as well. Well, how about a free and easy way to learn if you need better insulation? Just schedule a free corner-to-corner inspection of your crawl space and attic with Crawl Pros. It's exactly what I did. They'll show up to your house. They'll go where you don't want to, certainly where I didn't want to, and they'll tell you if you got any problems with your crawl space, your attic, and especially your insulation. If they do discover your home is under or improperly insulated, they'll show you all the utility rebates as well to help you get that work done correctly and affordably. If you're a PSE customer and your home was built before 1990, you could receive a rebate to cover up to 95% of the cost. Make your home more comfortable. Save on your energy bill with Crawl Pros. If you're worried that anything's going on in your crawl space or attic, critters, mold, water, plumbing issues, call Crawl Pros or go to crawlpros.com.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other, so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio. So we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
Well, what other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Hey, I want to tell you a sellwithwes.com success story. Wes Jones knows how important your home sale can be for your future plans. So when he got a call from Susan in Federal Way, he was eager to step up and help her sell her home of 25 years.
Her house was her biggest asset, and this home sale was super meaningful for her. So she's like, I know that I'm leaving money on the table in the condition that it's in. Like, what can we do?
I told him up front that I did not have the time or finances to do what needed to be done. And he immediately jumped in with, well, I do.
He told her about their Listing Boost concierge service.
We identified probably 4 or 5 major things.
It just was all so fast. They did everything.
I'm a son of a builder, and I've done a lot of flips over the years. So this is work that we actually like to do. We are seeking this out.
And I would just tell anybody, here's his phone number, give him a call. He'll take care of it.
So if you're in the market to sell your home, do what Susan did. Check out Wes Jones and his team at sellwithwes.com. Sell with Wes, a better way to sell your home.
What if you could have the most reliable Wi-Fi? And get this, what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? That's the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee.
Just 5 years of fiber-powered Wi-Fi that boosts speeds to the devices that need them most.
That finds and fixes problems before you even notice them. Like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a 6th sense. And that keeps you gaming in the fast lane. even when the whole family's banking on bandwidth. And here's the best part. No annual contracts, no hidden fees, and our best equipment included.
Plus, get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi.
Hey, let's face it, a lot can change in 5 years. Kids grow taller, dreams grow bigger, but your Wi-Fi? It would stay reliable and the price would stay put. The Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. Xfinity, imagine that.
Select plans only. Restrictions apply. Powered by fiber. Connected to the premises by coaxial cable. Actual speeds vary.
You didn't work hard to watch your retirement unravel. You saved, you sacrificed, you built something meaningful for yourself and for your family. Hi, I'm elder law attorney Rajiv Nagaich. I've seen what happens when unexpected health events collide with traditional retirement plans. Savings that took decades to build drains away faster than anyone expected. At LifePoint Law, we help you build a life plan to help you protect your assets and way of life. If you are retired or thinking about retiring, now is the time to double-check your retirement plan.
Retirement doesn't have to feel like a gamble. With straightforward planning and clear answers, LifePoint Law replaces fear with clarity, but only if you start now. Attend the next seminar Tuesday, April 7th in Bremerton, the 9th in Olympia, or the 11th in Federal Way. Seats are limited. Sign up now at lifepointlaw.com. Visit lifepointlaw.com today.
Your old furnace ain't nice, and your toes are like ice.
DayandNight.net.
This month, Day and Night gives you a free furnace with the installation of an AC or heat pump.
If you're not sure your furnace will make it through another winter, call us to install a proper, long-lasting, efficient heating system backed by our lifetime workmanship guarantee, so you won't be left out in the cold.
Install an AC or heat pump and get a free furnace from Day and Night Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric.
DayandNight.net.
It's difficult to trust someone with your loved one's care. Aegis Living earns your trust every single day. Voted best senior living in Western Washington and ranked #1 senior living community in all of America by Seniorly. Aegis sets the standard for luxury assisted living and award-winning memory care. Resort-style comfort with state-of-the-art AI fall prevention, a staff who loves what they do, and your loved ones. Schedule a tour today at aegisliving.com/KIRO. That's AEGIS living.com/KIRO and get a special take-home gift. Aegis Living. This must be the place.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Frank Lindsay. Boeing played a role in the rescue of 2 Air Force airmen who were shot down over Iran last week. An Air Force official tells Bloomberg each airman was carrying a standard-issue Boeing communication device known as the Boeing Combat Survivor Evader Locator. Basically allows a person to tell rescuers where they are. During his news conference on Monday, President Trump referred to it as a sophisticated beeper-type apparatus.
When they go out on these missions, they make sure they have lots of battery space and they're in good shape. And this one worked really well, amazingly, saved his life.
Air Force and Navy bought thousands of those handheld units since 2009. 2 Democratic members of Congress, including one from here in Washington, have met with Cuban officials. Pramila Jayapal, along with Illinois' Jonathan Jackson, spoke with Cuba's president, other members of the government, religious leaders. They also visited hospitals. All of this in order to assess the humanitarian situation on the island during the Trump administration's oil blockade.
There are a number of things that I think indicate that the moment is here for us to have a real negotiation between our 2 countries and to reverse failed U.S. policy of decades, a Cold War era remnant.
Trump has referred to Cuba as a failed nation and has suggested that Cuba is next, referring to military action in Iran and Venezuela. Amazon and the U.S. Postal Service have reached a new package handling deal. We get more on that from CBS News correspondent Michael Wallace.
Amazon has agreed to cut the number of packages it ships through the Postal Service by only 20% this fall. The e-commerce giant had threatened to cut that number by 2/3. The 20% reduction will still put a big dent in the Postal Service's revenue. Amazon is its largest customer, but Amazon has been expanding its own delivery service, especially in rural areas. The Postal Service reported a net loss of $9 billion last year. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
On Wall Street this hour, the Dow is down 219 points, NASDAQ down 123, S&P is down almost 25. KIRO News Radio traffic now. We're still dealing with that situation. Westbound Highway 18 in the Tiger Mountain area. Semi-truck on its side. 80,000 pounds of potatoes in it. It's on the shoulder, this truck is. The potatoes have not spilled as of last check anyway, but we will have some delays in that stretch because the westbound lanes are going to need to be shut down when the tow truck arrives. Other than that, pretty light travel times around the region right now. This traffic report is brought to you by KIRO News Radio. Weather forecast, sunshine later today. We got to get rid of these clouds first, but then we'll get up to about 56. Sunny, 61 on Wednesday. Sunshine, 65 on Thursday. 69 degrees on Friday. And then over the weekend, the showers come back, and we will drop into the 50s. Right now, we're at 49 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Welcome back to the Gee and Ursula Show. It's 10:34 on this beautiful Tuesday morning. Question for you. What do you think is the American dream? For the longest time, there has been this idea that you help your kids go to college, they go to school, they get a good job, they have a family of their own, they help their kids then go to college, whatever, et cetera, et cetera. But that is changing these days, and it's something that we talk about on the show. But, of course, with the cost of living getting higher and higher, more young adults are choosing to live at home, and many parents of young adults are starting to rethink that whole idea of what the American dream is. Yeah. So instead of investing savings into tuition money, more parents are saying they would actually be more willing to help their kids put a down payment on a house or just a condo. According to a new report by Northwestern Mutual, 74% of parents who still have kids at home say they're now helping their kids buy a home into their financial planning. 74%. 29% say they think that is more important than paying for college. I'm going to guess, G, that you agree with that.
You know I do.
Yes. For many older Gen Zers, the whole idea of the path of getting to an American dream is impossible without the help of family. Of those who do own a home, a new report found that 38% of them got financial help from family. So we asked all of you, Muckleshoot Casino Resort text line, 888-973-5476, what or how is the American dream changing for you?
Mm-hmm. The American dream has not changed for me. The American dream has always and will always be the same for me, for my kids and their kids, and anybody that holds the Scott last name. And what I mean by that is the reason why earlier this morning I was giggling. And I was giggling because the American dream is so, how it's viewed and how it's looked at is so different for so many people. First, let's be clear. We don't all start the same. Mm-mm. Everybody has, some people start at the starting line. Some people get a nice little head start, if you will. So we can agree with that. That's
and
one.
Some people start way behind the starting line.
Absolutely. So you have that. Two, when we talk about the American dream, not everyone has the same safety net. Here's what I mean. You see, some people can make a mistake. Two people can make the same mistake, but have different outcomes. One person that made the mistake had an amazing safety net. Mm-hmm. The other person that made that same mistake does not have that safety net. But let me bring it all together. The American dream, if you are here on this soil, it is not the car, it's not the dream job, it's not all of the money, any of those things. The American dream is the ability to become something. And no matter what that is, you can spend, I don't know, what's the average age of life now? Is it 74, 75?
Yeah, for women it's longer, but let's say 80.
Let's say 80.
Okay.
You have 80 years to live. You can spend all 80 of those years talking about, man, I started behind that starting line. Or, man, I didn't get that dream job. Or you can spend those 80 years saying the American dream was just the ability to become whatever it is that you're going to be. Don't try to walk in someone else's shoes and say, oh, I want what they have, because you don't know their safety net. You only know what your safety net is. So this is a topic. The reason why I was giggling because I was literally talking about this very thing with my daughter about the American dream. Is the ability to become. Some people will all have the opportunity just to be the best that we can be. The Marine Corps deal used to always say that. My dad used to say it to me all the time. Be the best you can be.
Yeah, it's so true. I feel like I am living the American dream. I remember when I was growing up in the Philippines and I dreamed of coming to the United States. And I didn't know that it was going to happen. And it took my parents literally almost getting a divorce and then figuring out that they were going to come back together and we were going to start a new life in Eugene, Oregon that opened the door for this American dream. I didn't become an American citizen until I was in my 20s. I guess I dreamed of becoming a journalist in this country that I so desperately wanted to move to, and I was able to achieve that dream. I always dreamed of becoming a mom, my most important job, and I was able to do that. I feel like for me that is the American dream. But I reached out to my son, the one who's awake right now, and asked, what does it mean to you? And he said, the freedom to choose and the ability to be in control of my own destiny. That is the first thing that came to mind. I mean, I basically said during the break, you got to give me a quick answer. And he said, also, no matter who you are, you get a shot. And I think to some degree, yes. And then as you mentioned too, some people have an easier shot.
Yes.
Than others.
Yes.
But we asked for your texts, and was it Paul in DuPont said, I am living the American dream. I retired at 44 from the Army. I turned 60 tomorrow. Happy birthday. I put 3 kids through college, debt-free. I own my own home and cars.
Man, you retired at 44?
Dang, I know that one made me stop.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I had breakfast with some folks the other day, on my first Sunday breakfast. And you want to talk about the American dream? We had 2 of them are retired. One of them have 4 streams of income as they're retired. The other one, who's 70 years old, has 7 streams of income. And I said to myself, driving away, like, I got to get my life together. I got to get my life together.
Can I just be honest about something? When you just said, okay, the average lifespan is 80.
Yeah.
That made me gulp a little bit.
I know.
Because I'm like, okay, you're turning 50. I just turned 60. I'm like, wait a minute. 20 years?
I hope people put that into perspective.
Bam! I was like,
do you
ever have those moments where you're like,
yes.
Gulp?
Yes.
What the heck?
I have those moments.
What am I doing?
I have those moments to be like, man, I know maybe at some point, if I'm not here on this earth anymore, I'm going to look back and be like,
did I make the most of each day?
You ever see your credit card breakdown of what you spent? Right?
Yes.
Like you spent this much on food and groceries and gas.
The same as my social media usage.
When we're done with this life, imagine there being a graph. And this graph's like, oh, you spent this much time being hateful during your life. Ooh. As a matter of fact, you were great, and then you can see where your hate went up and also your money went up. Imagine those folks that spent their whole life being one way, and then towards the end of their life, they spent it being hateful, and then the remembrances of them and how hateful they were when they left. I want to make sure I ain't hateful.
Yeah, it's all about love and choosing joy.
Choosing joy! Scenarios next.
Congratulations to KIRO News Radio's Charlie Harger and digital content producer Patrick Janasek, nominated for a Northwest Emmy Award for investigative reporting.
It began with a question from the community. It seemed almost too stunning to be true.
KIRO News Radio is honored to be the only radio station nominated for the prestigious Emmy Award as part of our commitment to impactful storytelling across every platform, reaching into the communities we serve on KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM.
How was your break?
It was great until I stopped for gas. Prices have gone up almost $1 with no end in sight. I might have to start watching how much I drive.
That's exactly why I use Upside. I never pay full price for gas with the free Upside app.
Upside?
Yes, Upside. It's the free app that gives you cash back just for buying the gas you're already buying. So even with the rising gas prices, I'll never have to limit how much I drive.
Does that actually add up to anything?
Just last year, I made over $200 with the Upside app.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Upside app right now.
Download the free Upside app to earn cash back on the gas you're already buying. Use promo code THRIVE25 for an extra 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank account, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code THRIVE25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first fill-up. That's THRIVE25.
Offers vary by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
Progressive knows you could have easily taken the freeway, but you took the scenic route to see a waterfall and an oddly busy boiled peanut stand. Discovering the unexpected is exactly why you bought an RV, so protect it with a bundle from Progressive. Because although you may be 3 hours behind schedule, you're 6 jars of jam richer and possibly enrolled in a butter churning workshop. Switch to Progressive and protect your RV, boat, or motorcycle by bundling with your home or auto insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Owie, wowie!
What's with the...
Water heater's worn out.
Way less hot water?
Takes a lot longer, too.
Sounds like a goner.
Worst of all...
What?
Wasn't planning on it.
We can help.
Apollo Plumbing.
Ready right now to get you...
in hot water.
Same day.
Not this day. My budget.
How about with easy payments?
How much easy?
Around $50 a month with approved credit.
A new water heater?
50 gallons of 100% hot water delight.
For about $50 a month.
51, 52 to be precise.
And you can do it
today, if that's what you need.
Is it ever?
Apollo installs new ones with code upgrades.
Can't beat that.
Actually, I can.
What?
Your same-day water heater replacement includes Wrenchie's worry-free warranty.
Which means?
Apollo Plumbing covers your new water heater for life.
You mean should it ever wear out?
Apollo Plumbing replaces it free.
And if it needs service?
Service is included for our A-list members.
Wow!
Your new water heater is ready
right now
at ApolloPlumbing.com.
The stock market was on fire in 2025 due to AI and tech stocks. Now is the time to set a strategy for 2026. It's a good opportunity to lock in those gains and invest into a stable platform. With $8 trillion in cash sitting on the sidelines, investors are either scared or unsure where to go. Hi, I'm Scott Rurecka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Legacy Group Capital develops local real estate, lends money, and shares the profits with our investors. Diversify with Legacy Group Capital. Invest into our Northwest Fund, which is currently delivering 9% on a fixed rate term. It's our flagship fund for 19 years with zero investor losses. And yes, we do accept IRAs. Find out why 1,300 local investors have invested over $350 million.
Legacy Group Capital at LegacyG.com. This is not investment advice. Investments available to accredited investors only. Details at LegacyG.com.
Step inside and let the excitement take you places. This is Muckleshoot Casino Resort, the ultimate spot for action that reaches incredible heights, luxury that knows no bounds, and live entertainment that always thrills. It's all at one incredible destination. So when you look for the best, look nowhere else. Muckleshoot Casino Resort, the biggest and best in the Northwest. Muckleshoot.
You know the one question that guys hate to have asked of them by their wives, Nick?
I can take a good guess.
I know you know 100 of them. This is the worst one. Do these jeans make my butt look big?
Whoa.
Can't answer that one, right? What I've noticed is whenever you ask me questions like that, I just simply say, oh, I don't know. What did the doctors at Longevity Medical Clinic say?
Well, the doctors at Longevity Medical Clinic would tell me that my butt looks great in those jeans now that my hormones are balanced.
What'd they do? Did they give you something to bring bring your weight down?
No, just a result of having my hormones balanced caused me to lose weight. Who would have known? I had no idea that would be a result of it.
So that's good. So the answer is you look great. You're beautiful.
I feel great. I look great.
Yeah.
And I know it.
I've also noticed that your testosterone makes you a little feistier than you normally are, as my beautiful Greek wife.
I might be small, but I have a loud bark.
Yes, you do. Do what Nick and I have done. Take a free health analysis at longevitymedicalclinic.com.
D.R. Horton's National Red Tag Sales Event starts this Friday, April 10th. Stop by any of its participating communities and find select Red Tag homes at incredible pricing. Visit drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder and equal housing opportunity builder.
We got a guest coming up at 11 o'clock. We got John Scholes from the Downtown Seattle Association will be joining us. The Seattle Downtown Association will join us coming up at 11 o'clock. They said the visitors, they've made a rebound, the most since 2019. But the workers...
where are they?
The workers lagging behind. All right, we'll do all that next. But right now, scenarios.
Here we go, yo. Here we go, yo. So what's the scenario?
I work as a retail manager, and part of my job is interacting with the public. That means I get all the complaints, but I don't really have any authority to fix the problems. We have been having issues in a couple of areas, and I've brought it up to my supervisor several times. He pretty much blew me off. Then in the managers meeting 2 months ago, I brought it up in front of everyone. Other managers have had the same issue, but the boss doesn't want to hear it. Then he called me into his office and said to never bring that up again and never embarrass him in a meeting like that. So I decided to take matters into my own hands. At first, I encouraged complaining customers to leave a review. I thought that might get some attention. A couple did, but not very many. So I started leaving bad reviews myself under different names and accounts, of course. It's getting a lot of attention now, and now everyone is talking about the problem. And now I'm worried someone will figure it out that has been me all along, but I can't suddenly stop doing it because it would look weird that nobody complains anymore. What do I do here? 888-973-5476. Muckleshoot Casino Resort text line. Ursula, you up to bat first.
I would suggest you stop creating those fake complaints. You now have attention on it. You are asking for trouble. This person doesn't sound like someone who's totally on the up and up. I think it's shady to now do fake complaints. Mm-hmm. And can you remind me what is the actual issue? Like, what is?
They never said what the issue was, but it is a problem. It's been a problem. Other folks have come in and talked about how there's been a problem, and the manager doesn't want to address them. As a matter of fact, was more upset about it being talked about in a meeting than actually addressing the problem.
Which also, if I'm going to believe exactly how it is written, I will say that it sounds like a poor manager. It doesn't sound like someone who's willing to address actual issues. And it sounds like a toxic climate that is not conducive to having people bring issues up so that this worker... So there'd be two questions. One is, do you want to keep faking it and risk you losing your job? You could also escalate it if you really think it's enough of an issue, or escalate it to human resources if there is a department that exists like that. Again, it's hard to know because I don't even know what this problem is. Yeah. Is this really a problem? Yeah. Or are you the problem?
Yeah, I agree. Look, I say this when you're talking about leadership, the fish stinks from the head down.
It's true.
Right? So the reason why this employee is doing shady stuff, and by the way, that's shady to do false reviews, is because they're in a shady culture.
Yes.
And when you have a shady, toxic culture, you have these types of things. Kind of reminds me of King County at one point.
Oh, yeah, where the one person who complained, then he got fired.
He got fired. Did they reinstate that dude?
No.
Yeah, so, because with that, they admit there was a broken system. Because I asked if it was a broken system or incompetence, and the executive says, it was a broken system. So if it was a broken system...
it's both.
Huh?
I would argue it's both.
Yeah, a little both?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, same thing. You go into this, and by the way, the King County executive, he's going to fix the bad culture and the bad system, so that's why we're going to have him back on in May. Shout out to him. But when it comes to this situation, this whole entire company, throw it away. It's trash.
Walk away.
It's just trash. Oh, no, and stop doing them bad reviews.
I know, please.
You're not doing a good job, and your boss sucks.
Yeah, I was like, it seems a little petty to be like, well, if I don't send them, everyone's going to think it's weird. Like, no, it's weird just making up fake complaints. Like, y'all are messy over there.
Messy. All right, let's see what my good brother, my man Nick. Nick, we ain't talked to you today. What you got, bro?
Well, I get the frustration of not getting to be proactive about nonstop issues that build up from your job in retail. And you want to find out how to get the attention on what's on your mind. But if you really want your voice to be heard on your grief, I'd just be upfront about it and tell your manager the beef about being anonymous without being anonymous, rather than just playing a guessing game and making up these issues and then having people wondering, like, who's giving us this grief? And then at the end of the day, it just sounds like this work environment is just no good. So I would just leave the job and just try and find another place.
And by the way, I can't believe that nobody addressed the elephant in the room. Mm-hmm. Put it in writing. Send an email and say, hey, can we talk about, do we have an issue here? Do the emails. And then when you come out and they try to fire you for you just going above their head, you got them emails. Lawsuit.
Yes. You need to have a paper trail.
Paper trail. Them paper trails. That's why you don't answer the paper trails. Hey, coming up here next on the Gee and Ursula Show, John Scholes. That's right, president of the Downtown Association. He's going to join us next. We're going to talk to him about the report that came out that downtown Seattle visitors rebounded to 2019 levels. However, the workers lag behind. Next, Gee and Ursula.
Local news from local voices you trust.
Flights out of Joint Base Lewis McChord.
KIRO Newsradio.
Questions about whether the Pentagon is deploying special forces to the Middle East.
The news you depend on.
Gas prices up 25 cents in the last week.
Conversation.
Then all of a sudden, Trump comes out, hey, we're having productive talks.
And your Super Bowl champion Seahawks.
Touchdown, Seahawks!
KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM. Streaming everywhere on the KIRO Newsradio app. KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle.
Carpal tunnel syndrome. Heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines. These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. Amvuttra, vutrisiran, is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, Amvuttra was proven to help people live longer and have fewer heart-related hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. Amvuttra lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision. Other side effects include pain in the arms or legs, pain in the joints, and shortness of breath. These are not all the possible side effects of Amvuttra. For prescribing information, call 1-833-256-2748 or learn more at amvuttra.com. Ask your doctor about Amvuttra for ATTR-CM.
File with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. TurboTax helps you get your biggest refund, and then Credit Karma helps you do more with it. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
The Jake and Spike Show.
I check it late at night when my wife's not looking.
Weekdays noon to 3.
My favorite thing on my phone, which is my weather app.
First thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
On KIRO Newsradio on 97.3 FM and the KIRO Newsradio app.
I'm Bradley Johnson with 1-800-DUI-AWAY. Let's talk about hockey. Don't you love a sport where it's almost fair game to throw off your gloves and bare knuckle it in that gray area? Hockey brings excitement, intensity, passion, often drinking. It's like a party with a puck. If you enjoy too many shots at the bar while watching slap shots on the ice, don't try to make a breakaway because the police won't just stonewall your goal. They're much more likely to throw you in that penalty box. And it won't be just a few minutes to think about what you did. Go ahead, enjoy cracking one open. Just don't overdo it. Call 1-800-DUI-AWAY or go to 1-800-DUI-AWAY.com for your free private consultation. Hockey is one of the only sports where you can wrap around the goal and there's no out of bounds. But the roadway is a different story. Call 1-800-DUI-AWAY.
1-800-DUI-AWAY!
Hi, I'm Dr. Nia Hergaris with today's tip for kids from the American Academy of Pediatrics.
As parents, we want our children to grow up healthy and strong. That means helping teens take responsibility for their health as they become young adults. One way to do that is to make sure they have one-on-one time with their pediatrician. That helps them become comfortable talking about any health issue with their doctors and with you. So make sure to give your teen a voice. It's good for their health. For more on teen health, visit healthychildren.org.
Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio, Northwest News.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-292-4541 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-292-4541. That's 800-292-4541. What do you have to lose? Call 800-292-4541. Again, 800-292-4541.
Don't wait. Insulate. Last year, American Crawl Space and Pest Services gave over $2 million in insulation rebates from PSE, more than any provider in the state. If your home was built before 1990, you're eligible for recouping up to 95% of insulation replacement costs. Insulate with American Crawl Space and keep your home warm during the winter and cool during the summer.
American Crawl, the heroes you call.
Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio, KIRO FM, and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle, Northwest News.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper. A whole civilization will die tonight. That, according to President Trump on social media, as an 8 p.m. Eastern deadline approaches for Iran to make a deal to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. CBS's Nancy Cordes at the White House.
He means it this time. He has walked back threats like this with a deadline before. In this case, he is not walking it back. If anything, he is getting more specific and he is getting more aggressive.
During a visit to Hungary, Vice President J.D. Vance says the U.S. retains powerful options and has the ability to exact greater pain when it comes to Iran. But
the president doesn't want to do that. I don't want to do that. That's why we're negotiating so aggressively.
The U.S. has launched fresh strikes on the oil export hub of Kharg Island. CBS's Imtiaz Tayeb in Doha.
Those Iranians who so desperately want to see change, who so desperately want this leadership to be removed, are now seeing this as a war on them. We've been speaking to some of them, trying to get in touch with them, but we have to remember that Iran has been under an almost complete internet blackout. So while it's very difficult to gauge the opinion of Iranians on the ground, there's an awful lot of fear and there's an awful lot of uncertainty as that deadline looms.
The Iranian regime has called on young people to form human chains around the country's power plants. American journalist Shelley Kittleson, who was kidnapped in Baghdad last week, has been released. That's according to the Associated Press, who cites an Iraqi official with direct knowledge of the situation. An Iran-backed Iraqi militia said in a statement earlier in the day that it had decided to free the journalist. Some Georgians head to the polls today in what is a closely watched election. In the running is Democrat Sean Harris and Trump-backed Republican Clayton Fuller.
Voters in northwest Georgia are deciding today who will replace former Republican Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene.
I'm a 45, 47 and onward guy. What he says to vote for, that's who we're going to vote for.
This is even, to me, more important now than ever, is to see what the person, the candidate, has to say as opposed to what party he's representing.
The 14th Congressional District is ranked as Georgia's most Republican-leaning. Jim Krasula, CBS News.
Now, the crew of Artemis II have completed their journey around the far side of the moon. They have 3 days until re-entry and splashdown into the Pacific Ocean. CBS News senior space correspondent Bill Harwood.
So far, other than a few minor toilet problems that we've all heard about, the spacecraft has operated almost flawlessly. It's really been a well put together mission, and I'm sure they're looking forward to getting home now.
Stocks are down on Wall Street. Oil is up. This is CBS News.
It's one of the most successful law and justice programs in television history that continues to uncover the truth. 48 Hours, Saturday on CBS and streaming on Paramount+.
An effort is underway to recall Washington's governor. We'll tell you about that in just a minute. But first, KIRO News Radio traffic. Westbound lanes of Highway 18, just east of the Tiger Mountain Summit, shut down right now. This is because of that truck carrying 80,000 pounds of potatoes. It tipped over on its side, so the tow truck is there now to try to get that out of there. Nobody was hurt in this crash, by the way, but the State Patrol tells KIRO News Radio that the driver will be cited. Not sure exactly for what just yet, but there will be a citation in that case. Also, we had a crash on Highway 8 eastbound at Old Olympic Highway Northwest. That's west of Olympia. At last check, the left lane was blocked because of that. This traffic report brought to you by the KIRO News Radio app. Text app to 888-973-5476 to download the KIRO News Radio app. Listen to your favorite shows and get the latest news and updates sent straight to your phone.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning. I'm Frank Lindsay. A recall effort is underway against Washington Governor Bob Ferguson. An attorney accuses him of breaking the law by failing to fill 2 vacancies on the Public Disclosure Commission, leaving the elections watchdog without a working quorum. The petition was filed by Connor Edwards. The Washington State Standard describes Edwards as a prodigious filer of campaign finance complaints. Still no reprieve in gas prices for Washington drivers, although Georgia's governor has enacted a temporary gas tax holiday. Oil distributor Jeff Small says taxes are the main culprit compared to Idaho.
Everybody in Washington's getting that same fuel from Spokane. Everybody in Idaho and the Panhandle is getting that same fuel. The solid difference is taxes.
KIRO 7 asked Governor Ferguson about a tax reprieve back in March.
Well, have you given any consideration to a gas tax holiday?
Have I given any consideration to it? There's lots of things that are being considered.
Current average for a gallon of gas in King County, by the way, $5.68 a gallon. Renton police have temporarily shut off automated license plate reader cameras to comply with a new state law regulating their use.
So it's not only with the flock cameras, but also has to do with our in-car cameras that also have the ability to do automatic license plate reading.
Police Chief John Schultz says the cameras help solve crimes, but for now, they're dark as the city works through privacy rules. He wants those cameras back on as soon as possible. Snohomish County health officials say the measles outbreak, first reported in January, is officially over. 14 cases were confirmed. The last illness reported February 17th. Officials waited 6 weeks with no new cases before declaring that outbreak over. They do warn, though, that more cases are likely as the summer travel season gets underway and as the World Cup comes to Seattle. A recent whooping cough cluster at Western Washington University appears to be contained. 3 cases were identified before spring break with no hospitalizations. Whatcom County health officials tell KIRO 7 all of those cases involve people in the dorms.
There's a low concern, however, we still investigate and ensure that all of those receive either treatment or prophylaxis that they need.
The county has logged 20 cases so far this year compared to 128 in all of 2025. Your weather forecast calling for some sunshine later today, a high of 56 degrees. We've still got those clouds out there right now, but expected to burn off. Sunny and 61 on Wednesday, sunny and 65 on Thursday. It's 48 degrees right now in Seattle. I'm Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show with G. Scott and Ursula Reutin.
Hey, good morning, everybody. It is the Gee and Ursula Show. Grateful that you hang out with us from time to time. Good morning to you, Ursula.
Well, and if you're only doing it time to time, I would love for you to add 1 or 2 more days to the week.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
How's that? Right?
That'd be nice. Yeah.
But just one little ask in 2026. Could you just add 1 more hour or 1 more day even?
A little something.
I don't mean to sound desperate, but we love it when you interact with us on the Muckleshoot Casino Resort text line, 888-973-5476, 888-973-KIRO. Yeah, I mean, Gee and I are celebrating our 6th year together.
That's
We're
right.
talking about, hey, turning 50, turning 60. You know, you think, how many years do I have left? 6 years is a long time. You and I have been together.
I was talking about that with Laura Scott. You guys know Laura Scott, producer of the Jake and Spike Show, and she was like, oh, Ursula turned 60. You're turning 50. I just turned 30. She says, now we need to find someone who's turning 40. Yeah, she said that.
Nick? How long?
No, Nick's 30.
I turned 31 in June.
Oh, dang.
So
we got 30.
Yeah.
I know, I was just about to age you.
I know.
Chef, who is on leave right now, but Chef is in
40s.
Yeah, exactly. So we've got all the decades. Yep. Sophia, you got all the time in the world.
I represent one
Your
particular
20s.
decade. So far away
And
from
you're
30, guys.
representing it quite well, I might add. Okay, 888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO.
Top stories at 11.
On the Gee and Ursula Show.
I was just in downtown Seattle yesterday, and it seems to be busy again, at least on the surface. Tourists are back. Big events are drawing in big crowds. The new waterfront is pulling a lot of folks in. But if you peel back a layer, the picture does change dramatically. And it's something a friend of mine who owns a business in downtown was saying. Office towers are still pretty empty. Daily foot traffic from local folks has not recovered, and the businesses that rely on that steady Monday through Friday crowd are still struggling to survive. So is downtown Seattle actually back, or are we just seeing flashes of it on the weekends? So we thought we would ask the CEO of the Downtown Seattle Association, John Scholes, to join us on the Gee and Ursula Show. Good morning.
Good morning to you both.
So tell us, this is your latest data. It shows that there's some good news in it. The visitor numbers are back up, right?
There's a lot of good news. Yeah, total visitors last summer was higher than what we saw in 2019. So you look from April to September, there's an incredible amount of activity in downtown Seattle. And the rest of the year is a little softer from where we were in 2019. So it's sort of the tale of two seasons. And we got more people living downtown than we ever have before. So there's a lot of good news. There's also, some challenges as well.
Can you follow up on that? Okay, so back to on the tourist front, which is great news. And cruise ships certainly are helping that a lot, and just people getting out and about. You've got the tourists back. Why are we seeing the increase in number of people who are actually living downtown?
Because so many people want to be where you've got arts and culture and it's walkable, and you got music and food, and you got a great train system and sports, and you got a new waterfront now. So it's not for everybody, but there's 110,000 people that want to live in the heart of the city and have access to all of that. And many don't have to own a car, and you can walk. I've lived downtown and raised my kids downtown for the last 12 years, and I enjoy a lot of those conveniences. And so we lost a couple thousand people through the COVID years, but we gained them back plus many more. And today, a record number of people living downtown. 1 in 8 Seattleites call downtown Seattle home.
You mentioned challenges. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, what we're not seeing is job growth, and that's been true the last 4 years. We're losing jobs in downtown Seattle, and over the last 20, the 15 or so prior to the pandemic, we had just record level of job growth. We were outpacing most downtowns around the country. That's not been true the last 4 years. And we see a lot of job growth across the lake in Bellevue. And I'm not rooting against Bellevue by any means, but I'm certainly rooting for Seattle and sort of sounding the alarm here that we are not attractive right now to employers that are growing and expanding within the region. They're picking the east side of the lake, not the west side of the lake. And that has significant consequences and impacts to the commercial office values in downtown. Top 10 buildings by value in downtown are worth less than half of what they were just 4 years ago. Mm-hmm. So that property tax burden that was carried by commercial buildings in downtown for so many years is now being shifted to residents within the city of Seattle, but also small businesses who pick up a portion of the property tax in their triple net leases. So we have to be more competitive and recognize that companies have choices on where they want to grow, locate, and there's great reasons to be here. But right now, the tax structure is creating a situation where Seattle's an outlier and people are making other choices.
You guys are listening to the voice of John Scholes here on the Gee and Ursula Show. You're keyed in on downtown. and you just said talk about some things that maybe we don't know about, maybe some of the things that maybe you say in these private rooms. Give us 3 things that Seattle could do right now to get people starting to choose and pick the west side of the lake.
I think it first starts with the tone and tenor of city officials, to business, to employers. We value you. We want you here. We want to make downtown Seattle, whether you're a retailer, a restaurant, or a large employer, a medium employer, we want to make it easy for you to locate and grow here. We value you here. And that's not been the message over, many years in our city. We have to be more upfront about that. We need better predictability. I mean, it seems like every other day you pick up a news story and there's a new tax or a tax that was recently raised that they want to make higher, or a new regulation. And so there's not great predictability. There hasn't been over the last decade for doing business in downtown Seattle. And the dollars and cents matter too. It is much more expensive to locate a job in downtown Seattle than it is in downtown Bellevue. We have a significant payroll tax that was put in place 4 years ago and increased. We have increases in the B&O tax on large employers in our city. So we become a tax outlier in our region, and people are making other choices. And so those are 3 areas of focus that I think would be helpful to locating more jobs in our city and making sure the employers that are here continue to grow. I don't believe we need more business taxes. What we need are more businesses in Seattle paying taxes. That's how we grow the tax base. And right now the tax base is at risk because we have commercial values eroding and we have jobs being located across the lake.
So specifically, as the Downtown Seattle Association's CEO, your request, or if you're making any demands, would it be to repeal some of these taxes that you have mentioned? I mean, what would be on the priority list that this would make an immediate impact and stop other businesses from going to Bellevue? What is that?
Yes, absolutely. And because in the long run, that's how we grow the tax base, not by sending jobs and companies elsewhere. If you remember 4 years ago, the city council leaders that proposed these payroll taxes called them the Jumpstart tax.
Yes.
It was the Jumpstart initiative. And what it's done is jump-started Bellevue's economy, not Seattle's. Oof. So the writing's on the wall that these taxes are driving investment, driving job growth outside of our city, which at the end of the day results in a net loss of tax revenue. And we've also shifted the tax burden, as I noted earlier. And these taxes were also billed as progressive revenue, right? The big companies are going to pay. Well, if the commercial values of office buildings are declining, the residents, the small businesses are picking up the tab because we rely on our property tax system to fund so much of our public services. So there's an effect happening here that I don't think was intended by those who authored these taxes, but was certainly predicted by us and others that said, if you make yourself an outlier in the region, people are going to make other decisions on where they want to locate and grow.
Do you think that, well, first of all, I don't think Ursula and I disagree with anything that you just said. That was probably the most common sense statement that's been said on our airwaves today. Do you think the powers that be, the people that are running the city of Seattle, the decision makers, do you think that they hear what you're saying and are like, you know what, John, you're right?
Well, we'll see. I do appreciate the comments the mayor made in her State of the City speech back in early February. I attended that. She, called out the business community and employers, and for the taxes they invest in our city, for their philanthropic commitments. She said, I value you. I want to work with you. I think those were important messages and important tone setting. At our State of Downtown event in March, she noted that Seattle's become an outlier when it comes to its tax structure in the region. And she has concerns about jobs leaving our city and recognized and acknowledged that jobs have left our city. And Bellevue has grown their employment over these last 4 years when Seattle has declined. So I think she's sent some important signals. And the fact that she's asking her departments for 5 to 10% cuts to the city budget to deal with their overspending, I think is the right approach. But time will tell. And we've made a lot of progress downtown, but this progress is tenuous. There's a lot of things going in the right direction. Some new retail coming in. Barnes & Noble is coming back and reopening next week in downtown Seattle. So there's a lot to celebrate, but we are in a different period than we were for the last 15 or so years when Amazon grew at this record rate and we had tower cranes all throughout our downtown. We are not attracting the investment and job growth that we once were. And that's a situation that causes me concern. I think should cause our city leaders concern as well.
John, a lot of companies have settled into hybrid or remote work. We just were talking to the King County executive. King County employees are just going back to 3 days a week, and many are complaining about that. Do you think Seattle just has too much space, office space, for our new reality?
We do have a new reality, but Bellevue's dealing with those same realities too. So, you know, the hybrid work affects Bellevue, and the shifts in the tech economy and layoffs affect Bellevue. So we have a pretty good control group across the lake. So I don't hang all of these challenges we're facing in Seattle on the tax structure, but when I look at what's happening across the lake, they're dealing with all of these same underlying issues that are facing downtowns across the country and across the world coming out of COVID. So, yeah, that's a part of it. I don't ascribe all of the responsibility and impact to hybrid work and shifts in the tech economy for why jobs in Seattle are declining and not growing.
One of the things, I was just in downtown Bellevue. I took light rail over to downtown Bellevue and walked to Bell Square. And one of the things that Bellevue doesn't deal with is this idea of lack of safety or this perception that there's a lot of crime there. That does still come up in surveys about downtown Seattle. Even if crime stats are improving, do people feel comfortable downtown?
Perception matters, and there's no doubt that I think many, especially if you haven't visited downtown or you're not spending a lot of time here, you sort of have a hangover from what you saw in the headlines and on the news and in images, you know, from 5 or 6 years ago, which in a lot of ways was just, you know, complete chaos and suffering on our streets and not a lot of people doing anything about it. We're not there today, and we've made a lot of progress. Crime is down. We have fewer people in need, but it's not good enough. And we need to intervene more with folks that continue to struggle with substance use, that are continuing to wake up on the sidewalk. It's not good enough. And I commend the mayor for the leadership she's showing to say we need to create more places for people to be inside and get people off the street, get them the services and help that they need. And we have to move with a great sense of urgency there. So something we're working with her and her administration on. But you're right. If people don't first both believe and feel and will know that they will be safe, they make other choices on where they want to be. Cities, downtowns have never worked if you haven't achieved those things first. So we've got to stay laser focused. It's got to be job number one. Thankfully, we're going in the right direction. Got a lot more police coming to our streets, and we also need to create a lot more places for people to come inside to give them the help they deserve and that they need.
You know, John, I don't have a list in front of me, and we're talking about substance abuse issues and things like that, and there's this huge glorification of Bellevue. How many treatment centers are in Bellevue as opposed to in Seattle? And you don't have to answer this. I just want to know sometimes.
This is the truth, though.
I just want to know sometimes when everybody's glowing about, oh my gosh, Bellevue's so great. Bellevue's so awesome. But how many, can you compare how many treatment centers are in Seattle compared to in Bellevue? Because when folks get a drug addiction problem in Bellevue, for some reason they slide on over to the west side to get some treatment services.
So true.
Huh.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, Seattle has, shouldered the responsibility for the region and downtown within the city for treatment and our county hospital and our regional jail and emergency shelter and low-income housing. And we need the entire county and region to step up. I do credit Bellevue. They have opened a men's shelter. Plymouth Housing opened a project there not too long ago. There is a mental health crisis facility in Kirkland that recently opened. So I think we're moving in the right direction, but Seattle continues to, shoulder a lot of the responsibility for those critical services, which no doubt has an impact on our street environment and what people see and experience in our city.
Now, John, I was with my partner, Ernie from Kent, on Sunday, and one of the things that he talked about, and it's probably the number one thing that people talk about, and I want to know if you got some pull around there. See, in Bellevue, everybody always talk about Bellevue and how great it is, but one of the advantages that Bellevue has is when they pull up over to Bellevue is the parking situation. You know what I'm saying? You can find some free parking, and so a lot of people want to pull up to Seattle and go do some things, but they're like, oh man, the way my bank account is set up and gas and things like that, it's going to cost cost me $77 to park for 5 minutes. What can we do in the parking, John?
So we got a lot of it, both on the street and off street. Yeah, you're right. Some of it costs more than what we'd like.
Yeah.
One hot tip for you is, Amazon, the biggest employer downtown, in their new garages north of Stewart, it's free on the weekends and evenings. So after, I think it's 5 o'clock on the weekdays, you get free parking downtown.
Didn't know
one of the best kept secrets.
Didn't know that.
Robin Puyallup just texted in. I was going to ask you that question about parking. He said he saw it on TikTok. That needs to be shouted from the rooftops.
You don't even need to be a Prime member, as I understand it. I think that's open to everybody. And you're 3-4 blocks from Nordstrom. You're 3-4 blocks to the north of Nordstrom in that garage. So there are options. And thankfully, we got a lot of other ways to get down here, too, besides driving your car. And, I know
Light
that
rail.
Needs to be a choice for many.
Yeah.
But you can get a train every 5 minutes from, any station north of downtown right now. And every 8 minutes, I think it is now, across the lake. So thankfully, there's a lot more ways to get here than there was just a few weeks ago, and certainly more than 5 years ago.
John, we really appreciate the fact that you came on, because you ain't never came on the show not being in that beautiful office of yours.
I'm in a little undisclosed location. Just a little phone. Just a little phone room. I always appreciate the invitation, and I will always make the priority to join you all. Appreciate how you lend your voice to the importance of a healthy, thriving downtown.
Yes.
Hey, blink twice if you're safe.
I'm all good. It's all good.
Thank you,
They can't
John
see
Scholes.
me blink on the radio.
Thanks, John.
Appreciate you.
We appreciate you.
All right, take care, y'all.
All right. Man,
Yeah, if people weren't looking on YouTube, he's in this. It looks like his back's against the wall. And he looks like he's in this tiny cubicle.
it looks like he's sitting there, and Seattle City Council is standing over him like, you better say this the right way. No, I'm kidding. I'm joking. I'm having fun. No, I'm having fun.
Yeah,
by the way.
but this Amazon free parking, that is a big deal.
That's a big deal.
Because yesterday for 2 hours I spent $13 on parking.
Why do I feel like Sophia knew this and never wanted to tell nobody?
It's true. I did know this. I feel like I don't want everyone to be blowing it up, because then you're not going to have a parking spot.
That's called gatekeeping.
Yes, it is.
Now, Ursula, that was well placed. That's exactly what that is. That's some straight gatekeeping, and you knew the whole. Nick, did you know this?
No, she was doing good gatekeeping over there.
Man!
Yeah, weekends and nights.
Sophia, you tripping. All right, we'll do this. Agree to disagree. Gee Ursula.
This hour is brought to you by DUI Heroes. Congratulations to KIRO Newsradio's Charlie Harger and digital content producer Patrick Janasek, nominated for a Northwest Emmy Award for investigative reporting.
It began with a question from the community. It seemed almost too stunning to be true.
KIRO Newsradio is honored to be the only radio station nominated for the prestigious Emmy Award as part of our commitment to impactful storytelling across every platform, reaching into the communities we serve. On KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM.
The stock market was on fire in 2025 due to AI and tech stocks. Now is the time to set a strategy for 2026. It's a good opportunity to lock in those gains and invest into a stable platform. With $8 trillion in cash sitting on the sidelines, investors are either scared or unsure where to go. Hi, I'm Scott Rurecka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Legacy Group Capital develops local real estate, lends money, and shares the profits with our investors. Diversify with Legacy Group Capital. Invest into our Northwest Fund, which is currently delivering 9% on a fixed rate term. It's our flagship fund for 19 years with zero investor losses. And yes, we do accept IRAs. Find out why 1,300 local investors have invested over $350 million.
Legacy Group Capital at legacyg.com. This is not investment advice. Investments available to accredited investors only. Details at legacyg.com.
I just can't dig it.
Dig what?
My water line.
Needs replacing?
And I don't want digging in my yard.
And maybe your driveway.
Can't dig it.
Don't dig it.
But how do you?
Apollo Plumbing replaces water lines without digging up your yard.
You're Dan.
From the Ready Right Now plumbers.
Apollo Plumbing.
Our trenchless technology replaces water and sewer lines.
Without digging up my yard?
2 little holes is all it takes.
Sounds better.
Faster, too.
And my yard?
Like we were never there.
Sounds spendy.
Not so much.
Oh?
In the end, about the same as that messy digging you don't want.
How do you figure?
Think about that landscaping you love.
Yeah?
Trenchless means you won't be paying to replace it.
Or my driveway.
We run everything underground.
Trenchless?
Do them all the time.
How about...
Easy payments?
Yeah.
With approved credit. Sure thing.
When can you get started?
We are the Ready Right Now plumbers.
Love that.
Apollo Plumbing, trenchless waterline replacement.
Sewer lines, too.
Can you dig that?
That I can.
ApolloPlumbing.com.
Washington's lottery gives out a lot of green to winners in schools and retailers awesomely. Nearly 600 mil to people that play. Another 180 mil to vocational training and education from preschool to college. Now you got the knowledge, a win-win for all of us. Play Washington lottery, lottery, lottery. Play Washington lottery, lottery, yeah.
Visit WaLottery.com. Who benefits to learn more.
Ever notice how everyone has their own idea of clean?
Yeah, your clean desk still has 3 coffee cups.
Yeah, but clean energy is simple. It means no carbon emissions.
And that's what nuclear energy delivers, while providing steady, reliable electricity.
Those big white clouds above a nuclear power plant? Just water vapor, like warm breath on a cold day.
Nuclear energy provides 10% of Washington's electricity, all without adding carbon to the air.
Learn more at energy-northwest.com.
Energy Northwest, powering our clean energy future.
Well, there's nothing I hate worse than being cold. And if your house is feeling a bit drafty or the floors of the main level are way too cold on your feet, that's probably because your crawl space and attic don't have enough insulation. It's probably making your furnace work overtime. So now you're spending more money as well. Well, how about a free and easy way to learn if you need better insulation? Just schedule a free corner-to-corner inspection of your crawl space and attic with Crawl Pros. It's exactly what I did. They'll show up to your house. They'll go where you don't want to, certainly where I didn't want to, and they'll tell you if you got any problems with your crawl space, your attic, and especially your insulation. If they do discover your home is under or improperly insulated, they'll show you all the utility rebates as well to help you get that work done correctly and affordably. If you're a PSE customer and your home was built before 1990, you could receive a rebate to cover up to 95% of the cost. Make your home more comfortable. Save on your energy bill with Crawl Pros. If you're worried that anything's going on in your crawl space or attic, critters, mold, water, plumbing issues, call Crawl Pros or go to crawlpros.com.
I'm Bradley Johnson with 1-800-DUI-AWAY. Let's talk about artificial intelligence.
I cannot answer that.
Many professions are using it, and allegedly some are even being taken over by it. At 1-800-DUI-AWAY, we know police are leveraging AI, whether it's analyzing body cam footage, reading license plates, or even facial recognition. AI has become a helpful tool, enabling officers to work more efficiently. And efficiency for them means more people getting pulled over. You can't chat GPT your way out of a high BAC. Getting legal advice from AI is no substitute for an attorney. Use AI correctly, or it can result in trouble, like a self-driving car taking you home from a bar.
You have reached your destination.
So call 1-800-DUI-AWAY or go to 1-800-DUI-AWAY.com. If you get pulled over for DUI, the only thing you need your smart device to do is call 1-800-DUI-AWAY.
1-800-DUI-AWAY!
Right now, get a free furnace with the purchase of a premium heat pump and air cleaning package at CM Heating. Start today with an always free estimate. There's no beating CM Heating for heating, cooling, plumbing, or electrical. Go to cmheating.com.
KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Frank Lindsay. King County Executive Girmay Zahalai says new audit protocols are in place after what he says was a systemic failure in internal accountability. We get the story from KIRO News Radio's John Rep.
Initial reports found that grants increased 95% from the Department of Community and Health Services without even basic monitoring to ensure that money was properly spent. Speaking with Gee and Ursula, Zahalai called it unacceptable, but says change is taking place.
Right now, we have hired the internal audit director. We're doing the base budget analysis. We're implementing performance measures.
He says the increased oversight also includes ethics and fraud prevention training for anyone who oversees those contracts. John Rep, KIRO News Radio.
A former Washington State Supreme Court justice is joining the effort to challenge the recently passed millionaire tax. According to the Center Square, Phil Talmadge, a prominent Democrat, has joined the legal team working on the case. Also on that team being assembled by the Citizens Action Defense Fund, Republican, and former State Attorney General Rob McKenna. A device made by Boeing helped the military find and rescue the Air Force airmen who were shot down over Iran last week. President Trump referenced the device during his news conference yesterday.
They have a very sophisticated beeper-type apparatus that is on them at all times.
An Air Force official telling Bloomberg the device is known as the Boeing Combat Survivor Evader Locator. Military has bought thousands of them since 2009. Amazon's made a new deal with the U.S. Postal Service. The deal first reported by Reuters. Amazon will retain about 80% of its existing deliveries with the USPS. That's more than 1 billion packages a year. And the deal means the post office will hang on to most of the business from its largest customer. Seattle is paying a 6-figure price for a bus line error. The Seattle Times reports rapid ride G-line platforms on Madison Street were built too high, making it difficult for people in walkers or using walkers and in wheelchairs to access the platforms. Crews had to repave parts of the roadway. Those repairs will cost about $650,000. On Wall Street right now, the Dow is down 211 points, the NASDAQ down 138, and the S&P is down 27. Traffic is still not too good. Westbound SR 18 completely blocked right now just east of Tiger Mountain. We're trying to get that potato truck out of there. It tipped over earlier this morning. Crews are on scene to get it righted, but there's 80,000 pounds of potatoes in that truck, so that might take a while. Northbound 5 at the West Seattle Bridge, at last check, we had a crash blocking the left general purpose lane. Things were backed up to Albro Place, and the south center to Seattle Drive was about 15 minutes or so. This traffic report brought to you by the Seattle Mariners. Ichiro Replica Statue Night is Friday, April 10th. Don't miss out and get your tickets at mariners.com. Weather forecast, sunshine this afternoon after these clouds go away, 56 degrees. Tomorrow, sunny and 61. Thursday, sunny and 65. Partly cloudy and 69 on Friday. And then we get some showers over the weekend. Highs in the 50s. Right now, 49 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Frank Lindsay. KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
It is 11:34. You're listening to the Gee and Ursula Show, and I was gleefully looking at the rundown sheet and thinking, what is Sophia cooking up for Agree to Disagree, which is brought to you by Guardian Roofing and Gutters.
One of these days, we just got to take off the gloves, just really go at it.
Yep, I have been cooking something up. Ursula and I were laughing because all I wrote on the rundown was, let me cook something up. And let me tell you.
So we have no clue.
I've been cooking something up. Don't you worry.
You know what the best thing about this is, and I'm really smiling, is the fact that you put let me cook something up, and just to hear and see and feel your confidence is pretty amazing.
It is really amazing.
So I love this. All right, so let me dunk on what you got.
All right. Well, you know what? This is actually for you, G, because it's been a while since I've given you free reign. I haven't given you free reign to drag my generation in a while, so you're welcome. I don't know if we've ever really had a full conversation about your thoughts on the Gen Z stare. Now, I think it's blown a bit out of proportion, but a lot of Gen Xers and baby boomers have been known to complain about the Gen Z stare. The idea, like, let's say you walk up to a coffee shop and a Gen Z employee doesn't immediately acknowledge you. They keep doing their thing. Maybe they're working with a coworker, they're doing whatever. And then when they do walk over to you and say, like, what do you need? They're just kind of staring at you blankly. They're not giving anything extra. And the thing is, it's kind of reshaping social interaction in general, not just in a customer service way. It's just reshaping things with a lot of young adults saying they're being more real. So what do you think? Do you think the Gen Z stare is rude, or is it giving us all the chance to have more honest and unmasked conversations after all?
Yeah. First of all, I love how you gave me something to grab onto. You said they're giving nothing extra. You see, the thing is about Gen Z that bothers me so much. And by the way, if you're listening right now and you have a Gen Z child or a Gen Z coworker, or let me just explain something and just see if we can feel this way on something. That stare that you're talking about, it triggers us. It triggers us because we know that your sense of urgency is at an all-time low. For an example, if I text a Gen Z, if I text a Gen Z, I can guarantee I'm going to get a text hours later. And if you guys have
silence,
if you guys have children out here, ask your child tomorrow. Ask them, how come I send you a text and you don't text back? But if I text Gen X or if I text baby boomers, the text comes right back. And then to which Gen Z tries to say, I've been busy. You think y'all are more busy than we are? We are busy too. So Gen Z, that damn stare is a lack of sense of urgency. And that drives us nuts.
Okay, am I the only one who has never noticed a Gen Z stare? I couldn't tell you anyone or any situation where I thought, man, this is unusually awkward and we're just staring at each other. Do you encounter it that often?
Yes.
Where?
Yes.
In what situation? Because you go to Starbucks.
Any type of retail situation, I see them right there. It's like, and it's like you're bothering them. The stare as if you are bothering them.
Yes, right. Don't interrupt my conversation to ask where that item is.
Then I got the audacity. One sec, I haven't finished this text.
Well, one of the things, see, I knew where this was. I knew what this was doing. See, you're welcome, G. I knew I'd rile you up. One of the things they were pointing out is a lot of time Gen Zers don't actually recognize that they're doing this or that they're intentionally doing something that might feel rude. So now I have to turn it back, G.
Y'all grew up on iPads. That's why.
I didn't grow up on that. I have to throw it back. Have I ever given the Gen Z stare to you before, G?
No.
Okay, so there we go.
And so people born between 1997 and 2012. So that would be essentially both my kids. I'm trying to think. Yeah, my younger one might do some Gen Z staring. Every once in a while, it's like just looking that nonplussed, like,
Or, the idea that you're not answering fully away. I have a really quick, funny story of my mom. My parents did not know that I wasn't in the car. We went to a gas station, and I got out to use the restroom, and they just, they didn't realize I had left, and they were driving on the highway for, 15 minutes before they realized that I wasn't in the car.
Yeah.
And my mom said she was trying to talk to me, and she was like, I just figured you weren't replying because you do that sometimes. You don't respond to me. And then finally someone took a little corner back and realized I wasn't in the car, and then they had to turn around. But it was the classic. She said, well, the Gen Z stare. Sometimes I say things and you don't acknowledge me.
Okay.
I think it's more of they grew up with the iPad, they grew up with the phones, and also throw in the pandemic, and there's just a certain amount of social awkwardness.
That's the thing,
I don't think it's an intentional thing.
I'm tired of giving these dang kids excuses and justification. Serene just texted in and says, Gen Z, my kids have over 1,000 unread text messages. Who does that?
Gee, you don't even open your email.
But in fairness, I tell people that. Hold on. I tell people I don't open emails, but I open text. And by the way, since we're on this topic, I don't even know I should ask you this question, but Sophia.
Yeah.
What do you when you're talking about work sometimes and you tell your friends about work? I want to know, what do you say about me in the whole 7 o'clock and 7:01 to your friends?
Oh, I've talked about it. They're like, people ask me, they're like, well, when does work start? And I was like, well, I have to call at 7 o'clock on the dot or I get roasted. And that's
true.
That's the conversation I have. And if I call any later, because it's also, there's no surprise. I am not an early bird. I'm kind of a chronically late person in my day-to-day life. And so people will be like, what are you doing to combat that? I was like, well, all I know, as long as I call G at 7.
Yep.
Then I'm doing okay.
We're all there. Robin Tuolive says the Gen Z stare is more likely to happen if you come off as impatient. Would you agree with that?
I'm probably one of the most impatient people that Sophia knows.
And he says, Ursula, you give relaxed auntie grandma energy.
Agree. She's relaxed. Not the grandma energy.
Although I'm looking forward to that.
I do think it has to do with like your internal personality too and the way you were raised. I kind of grew up like to be a little bit of a people pleaser. So even if there's like dead silence, I'm like, how's everyone doing? How's it going? I can't be quiet.
Yes.
So
I love that.
Yeah, you cooked.
That was good.
Nick,
I cooked it together.
Nick, just want to know if you have any last words on that whole discussion.
It's just first world problems, you know. You guys hold the purse, and you guys are always complaining like, they don't talk to me. I'm just sitting here on my phone. We're out here working 3 jobs. Why do you think we can't text you?
Come on, G. At least I react. I send the thumbs up. I send the thumbs up.
Nick makes a good point, and I'm so sick and tired of these Gen Z. Clock it! And they all just be tapping their damn fingers. Clock it!
Like last week, G was calling me on the phone when I was about to work a Rainier's game, for crying out loud. I still answered for him, too.
Hey, that's the thing. G, can you say I've always answered your phone calls. If one of you call me, I know it's urgent, so I always pick up the phone. Come on now.
I'm still laughing at Nick.
Nick,
those are some first world problems.
Nick said, still answer the phone call. I'm getting ready to go to work, though. Well done, Nick. All right, text messages, feedback, and then we'll have Ursula's words to live by.
If you owe back taxes, listen carefully to rule number 1. Never go up against the IRS alone. They're cracking down, freezing bank accounts, garnishing paychecks, canceling passports. Even your home or business could be at risk. But here's what they don't tell you. The IRS has powerful tax relief programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. That's why smart people call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. Nobody knows these programs like the experts at Optima. Their team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $2 billion in tax debt for people just like you. The IRS is not stopping, so don't wait and don't take them on alone. For tax help you need, for tax help you can trust, call Optima today for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
How was your break? It was great until I stopped for gas. Prices have gone up almost $1 with no end in sight. I might have to start watching how much I drive.
That's exactly why I use Upside. I never pay full price for gas with the free Upside app.
Upside?
Yes, Upside. It's the free app that gives you cash back just for buying the gas you're already buying. So even with the rising gas prices, I'll never have to limit how much I drive.
Does that actually add up to anything?
Just last year, I made over $200 with the Upside app.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Upside app right now.
Download the free Upside app to earn cash back on the gas you're already buying. Use promo code STATION for an extra 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank account, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code STATION for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first fill-up. That's STATION.
Offers vary by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions.
Remember that time we were driving through France and for some reason we didn't have GPS?
Oh, for some reason? That reason would be that you didn't plug your phone in because you didn't have a charger.
Yeah, because I let you borrow my phone so you could call your mother, and you're on the phone for like 30 minutes telling her where we are. But that aside, we didn't know where we were going. We did fight a little bit because we didn't know where we were going. I think that Longevity Medical Clinic is like the GPS for us. They tell us which turns to make. They tell us which directions to go, right?
They do. And now I feel like the two of us together have a clear path and we have more control over our own health care.
Right, exactly. So you don't have to get out of the car and try to find information somewhere. It's all right there. As you're aging, all the little sort of turns you have to make in order to be able to have lots of energy and to enjoy your life. So for as far as I'm concerned, Longevity Medical Clinic is our GPS. Do what Nick and I have done. Take a free health analysis at lmclinic.com. That's lmclinic.com.
Washington's lottery gives out a lot of green to winners in schools and retailers awesomely. Nearly 600 million people that play. Another 180 mil to vocational training and education from preschool to college. Now you got the knowledge, a win-win for all of us. Play Washington Lottery, lottery, lottery. Play Washington Lottery, lottery, yeah.
Visit walottery.com. Who benefits to learn more.
Sully here. I help commuters get around. And look, you know the first key to a good commute? A car that starts in the morning. That only happens when it's serviced regularly and repaired correctly. That's why I recommend Bucky's Complete Auto Repair. They've been keeping neighbors rolling for over 50 years. Honest work, fair prices, and zero guessing about that check engine light. And you know it's going to come on. So take it to Bucky's. Your car and your commute will thank you. Visit Bucky's.com. That's Bucky's.com.
If you've saved more than $300,000, there's one thing you can do now that could make your savings go twice as far in retirement, and it's tax planning. That's right. Tax planning could significantly reduce the taxes on your IRA and 401k withdrawals, Social Security benefits, and other investment income. Charlie Harger here. Find out how much money you could save with a free retirement tax savings analysis from the good people at Boss Retirement Solutions. To schedule your free analysis, call 206-210-1350. Tax planning for retirement could reduce your taxes not just for 1 year, but for the rest of your life. And the savings could be six figures. Let's find out how much money you could save. Call 206-210-1350. 206-210-1350.
For informational purposes only, actual results may vary. No statement contained herein shall constitute tax, legal, or investment advice.
Hartley here from Wilcox Farms. For over 100 years, we've cared for hens with healthy pastures and organic greens. That's why our eggs are nutritious and flavorful. Next time you shop, choose Wilcox Family Farms, locally fresh since 1909.
Home is more than a place to live. It's where the best of life unfolds, where possibility sparks, where community grows, where lives take shape. At the Master Builders Association of King and Snohomish Counties, that belief drives the work our builders, remodelers, and tradespeople do every day. Because when we build more homes, we're building so much more than housing. We're making room for what matters most. Learn more at roomforwhatmatters.com.
Hey, this is Jake Skorheim, and you know what they say, April showers bring May clogged and overflowing gutters. However, Valentine Roofing, they've got you covered. Right now, you can bundle and save 10% off your entire job when you add new gutters to any new roofing project. Plus, with flexible financing available and payments as low as $159 a month, Valentine makes it easy. Schedule your free roofing and gutter estimate today to bundle and save 10%. Just call 206 Roofing. That's 206 Roofing. And remember, when you see the red Valentine van, you know your home is in good hands.
It is the Gee and Ursula Show. I got to tell you, I left, and Sophia and Ursula, they sitting here laughing. Sophia's getting text messages from
Dad.
From Dad.
Yeah.
Shout out to your mom and dad.
No, literally, as soon as this segment ended, I literally get a text from my dad, who doesn't typically listen to the show, by the way. And I see, okay, so reply to my text now. Hello, Sophia. How are you doing today? Clock is ticking.
And you did not give him the Gen Z stare.
I did not. I immediately
responded immediately.
I went, are you listening to the show?
But Sophia, to give us context, are you really good about texting your dad back?
No,
Right.
I'm not. I'm terrible. But in my defense, my family primarily communicates via group chat, so that's kind of how I keep tabs on everything that's happening in my family. Is my brother and my parents, they all communicate in the group chat, so that's how I keep tab of it.
But just out of curiosity, I mean, I don't know if your dad's still listening.
He probably is.
How come you're so slow to text your dad back?
I'm just gonna go with the classic, you know.
Oh man.
You know what's so funny? I actually texted the one child, the child that I knew was going to respond.
Steven.
Yeah. Well, the other one, in fairness, is in Australia. But I knew if I needed something really quick, he was going to return it. Yeah, I got one that
he's let's be real. He has a Gen X baby boomer vibe. He's locked in.
He is locked. Yeah, this is true. Well, on the Gen Z stare, 206 said, yeah, Ursula, you are the only one out there who has never received that stare. I've probably excused it and like, hey, they look confused.
You're very understanding. I will give you that.
Steve in downtown Seattle.
Yeah, Steve in downtown Seattle said, yes, I don't like the Gen Z stare. I call them drones. Yes, they act like we are bothering them. Don't be a drone, be a human. Show some basic human emotion. Acknowledge another person as a human. Dang, Steve, you sound angry.
No, he was doing he said the customer was in all caps. He's the customer.
No, literally.
253 says, well, we have a group family chat with all the kids, and when I text one of my sons on a private, he will not respond, but he will respond on a group text. Why
That's
is
what I
that?
was just saying. Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know. I think it's because you're looking at what's happening first, and I will have like 35 messages in the group chat.
Because you don't want to look bad in the group chat.
Oh, I don't care about the group chat. The group chat is just usually my brother and his problems, and then I just have to go, y'all, why do I have to listen to all of this? And then they'll go, Sophia, you're good. I'm like, I'm good, guys.
Okay, but your brother is not
Ursula,
listening. Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, he doesn't care.
Yeah.
both you and I try to learn something every day.
Yes.
When we leave this show today, do you have a clear understanding why they respond in the group chat and not respond one-on-one? Do you have that? I still don't have that clear understanding.
I don't have a clear. I think they all have different reasons. I'm not gonna.
Can I tell you something
assign one.
crazy?
Yeah,
the
what's
group
that?
chat has 50 messages. I clear that chat out. I don't have to see the 50 message in the corner, but the one notification doesn't bother me as much. At least I get rid of that notification with the 50, and then I can respond and I say, hey. And if I respond to the group chat, you know I'm alive. I'm not intentionally ignoring.
I'm
your
always muting
individual
group chats, and I only respond on my own terms because I get tired of the ding, 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 ding.
Oh, God, that's true, too.
Yeah.
I know. I have a growing number of group chats.
Yeah.
And every once in a while, I do have to remove myself.
You
It's like,
do?
okay, sometime, no, but I said occasionally. Then I'll bring myself back.
Well, and that's what the mute
I don't want
button
anyone
is
to get
great for. You don't have to offend them, but you won't get the notifications.
Yes,
you can
exactly.
just put it on the side and be like,
yes.
okay,
When
wasn't
I
there.
can look at it, I will. Okay, Ken in Seattle says, I can only speak for myself, but with most of the younger generation's quirks, the Gen Z stare is met with my Gen X don't care. There are too many other things on my mind.
All right. Ursula, give us a good old words to live by.
Okay, I'm just going to continue with the whole joy thing.
Mm-hmm.
Maya Angelou, this is a quote from her. We need joy as we need air. We need love as we need water. And we need each other as we need the earth that we share.
That's a good one. That's a real good one.
I can always find great quotes from her.
Yeah. She shows up on these things a lot.
Yes.
Delivers.
Nick!
Well, there's some newer travel tips to save some extra dough. If you want to stay away from pricey hotels that you know, with ideas of housing swaps from people you just met instead, but it's not the swap of spouses G was thinking in his head. And I guess for G, that swap won't bother him without a fear, but a younger Gen Z shrugging off his text will grind his gears. Wife swaps on your mind ain't no thing, but the Gen Z stare, apparently that just crosses the line right there.
Nick, that was brilliant. That is one of your best of the week.
Yeah, he does a good job with that.
That's awesome.
Well, good show today.
I know, went by so fast.
All right.
Okay, in full transparency, I'm not here tomorrow. I've got a follow-up doctor appointment.
Right.
I'll see y'all on Thursday.
You think Sophia's gonna go get her sleep tonight?
I'm really going to rest up.
She's going to be busy replying to all those texts she's getting, huh?
Oh, they coming. They coming.
If you send me 30 articles, G, I promise I'm reading them.
Thanks, Ursula.
Thank you.
All right, we'll see you Thursday, right?
Yes.
All right. Sophia, you with us tomorrow?
It's you and me.
You know. Nick. Thanks, man.
You too, man.
Appreciate it. Hey, the Jake and Spike show, they're coming in next. And Sophia, please start texting your dad back right away, please.
Okay.
All right. We'll do this again tomorrow. Appreciate you for listening. Love you for that. And as always, be kind.
Hope you had as much fun as we have. So long, everybody.
Local Local news from local voices you trust.
Flights out of Joint Base Lewis McChord.
KIRO News Radio.
Questions about whether the Pentagon is deploying special forces to the Middle East.
The news you depend on.
Gas prices up 25 cents in the last week.
Conversation.
Then all of a sudden, Trump comes out, hey, we're having productive talks.
And your Super Bowl champion Seahawks.
Touchdown, Seahawks!
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM. Streaming everywhere on the KIRO News Radio app.
When it comes to financial planning, women often face different realities. For some, years were spent caregiving or raising children. Others were growing careers. Yet so often, investments and tax decisions were set aside or handled by someone else. And statistically, women live longer. Over the next 20 years, trillions will transfer to women, only after the loss of a spouse. And suddenly, they're expected to make these complex decisions alone. That's why I created Growing Her Wealth. I'm Danielle Meister, a wealth advisor at Madrona Financial and CPAs. This initiative was built to empower women and integrate investments, tax strategy, and estate planning all under one roof. This is for men as well, husbands and wives, to ensure a coordinated long-term plan. It's about elevating family stewardship. If you or someone you love wants thoughtful guidance in a professional, supportive environment, join me at an upcoming seminar or webinar. Visit growingherwealth.com to reserve your seat today. Growing Her Wealth, financial confidence on your terms.
Madrona Financial Services is an SEC registered investment advisor.
The throw at first, and it's in time. Holy smokes, what a play by J.P. Crawford.
At T-Mobile Park, you've always got the best seat in the house. But if you're looking for a truly golden view, look no further than the seats on the first baseline, a.k.a. Trident Town. Post up behind the Mariners dugout, and you get a great view of Logan Gilbert, Brian Wu, and our entire rotation at work.
Swing and a miss. Fastball upstairs, blew it by him, strike three.
Not to mention the best view of the best home run celebration in baseball. When the Trident goes up, you know a party's going down.
And it's gone! Julio!
Mariners baseball. Trident Cell.
The Mariners are back in town this Friday for a 4-game series against the Houston Astros. It all starts with Ichiro Replica Statue Night Friday at 6:40. Presented by BDA. The first 40,000 fans take home this legendary collectible, with 20 lucky fans scoring one signed by Ichiro himself. Get your tickets at mariners.com.
Ever wonder how much energy it takes to power your life? Streaming shows, running appliances, even using AI to plan your next trip?
A lot, and it's growing fast.
So we need more energy, and it has to be clean and reliable.
Exactly. That's why Energy Northwest is exploring new ways to keep power flowing sustainably to meet the rising demand.
All this new technology is exciting, but we need the energy to keep up.
And Energy Northwest is making it happen.
Where do I learn more?
Energy-Northwest.com.
Energy Northwest, powering our clean energy future. File now with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They'll find every credit and deduction or your money back. File today the easy way in the Credit Karma app.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-507-9701. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS anymore.